Hugh Jackson and his team giving up 14 points in the last handful of minutes against Detroit last week. They're now 7 up and 7 down. Romeo Crennel with a huge win over previously unbeaten Green Bay in his first game, taking the place of the fired Todd Haley. Ryan Suckup will be kicking it off. He is knocked in, by the way, 21 consecutive field goals. Ryan McCann is deep back, former Dallas Cowboy player. He had a concussion last week, had to leave the game, but he's back hale and hearty this afternoon. Here we go, the Kansas City Chiefs, who beat the Oakland Raiders back in October, 28-0. But the Raiders have won 4 consecutive games here at Arrowhead. And McCann will bring it out. And a bit of a seam getting by Piscatelli, chased by Suckup on the move. Returned him last year. He is brought down from behind by Jaleel Brown. What a return by McCann. A 91-yard return, 1st and 10 Oakland.
Well, Brian McCann does a really good job. They set it up to go to the left, but he hits it over to the right where he sees just all daylight, all green grass. From there, it's all about his speed, nearly getting to the end zone for a touchdown, setting up the Oakland Raiders. Phenomenal field position. If you're going on the road, Kevin, this is how you want to start if you're going to win in Arrowhead for the 5th consecutive time.
McCann was signed by Oakland in November. That's the longest kickoff return allowed by the Chiefs this season. It's 1st down and 10. Carson Palmer. Michael Bush down to about the 10-yard line and a gain of 4. Here is Carson Palmer. A week ago, 32 of 40. He has had 3 300-yard passing games this season for the Raiders. Valdir has stood out in an offensive line that is drawing a lot of praise. And receiver Darius Hayward-Bay is having a career season, perhaps the most improved overall Raider this year. Former number 7 overall pick. It's 2nd down and 6. Michael Bush out of Louisville. Oh, and he was knocked to the side, brought down on the play by Justin Houston. There's no gain on the play. The Kansas City defense finds the veteran Kelly Gregg, flanked by high draft choices Tyson Jackson and Glenn Dorsey. Tamba Hali had the sacks against Green Bay last week, but really it's rookie Justin Houston's emergence that has been the key. Now 2 guys can rush the quarterback, and 2 good quarterbacks, Brandon Carr and Brandon Flowers, with 4 interceptions this season. After the long kickoff return to 91 yards, 3rd down and 6. Chiefs going after Palmer. Brought down, Tyson Jackson.
It's a phenomenal stand by the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Remember, they've allowed a touchdown on their last 7 red zone possessions by the opponent. And I think Carson Palmer sort of panics here. He steps right into the path of Tyson Jackson. Allows for the potential sack. Then he just had to get rid of it. But good play by the Kansas City Chiefs defense getting the stop.
Here's a 28-yard try now by Sebastian Janikowski. You just saw how good he is inside 40 yards. And the Raiders try to get on the board first, which they do. The all-time leading scorer in the history of Oakland Raider football puts it in. A 91-yard kickoff return by Brian McCann. 13-20 in the first. Well, we told you that Brian McCann had a concussion last week against Detroit, but he has a 91-yard kickoff return, which gave him great field position. But Tyson Jackson and the Chiefs defense do their job, limit the Raiders to only a 3-point hit by that guy, Sebastian Janikowski. Deep back for Kansas City, Javier Arenas. And this will be out of the end zone and a touchback. So a 28-yard field goal by Janikowski. Kyle Orton with his 2nd start with his new teammates, mentioning his leadership and confidence last week against Green Bay.
And you get the sense he has a chip on his shoulder, Kevin, as the things that have resulted. Remember, he was cast off in Chicago for Jay Cutler, and now Denver says goodbye to him for Tim Tebow. He knows this is another opportunity to infuse a team with the leadership he provides.
Number 83, Kansas City will take it at the dead ball spot. 1st down at 23rd-yard line.
That's Brandon Myers, who is guilty of the infraction for the Oakland Raiders. They're averaging about 10 penalties a game. As you take a look at Romeo Crennel, he owns 5 Super Bowl rings as a defensive coach, coordinator. He was with the Cleveland Browns as a head coach, was let go, and then hired here in Kansas City. We have a re-kick by Oakland. The flag, by the way, was almost the color of the grass and very hard to figure out. In fact, the officials were looking for it just a second ago. Mike Carey, this is one of the best crews in the NFL. Mike Carey and his crew were searching high and low for the flag, and now they finally get it. So Todd Haley is fired here in Kansas City. They bring in Romeo Crennel. What were your thoughts over that whole move by the Chiefs organization?
I thought it was a good move because you could see the defense has always played inspired. I watched them in games against Pittsburgh. I watched them in other games where they were just phenomenal in terms of getting stops, getting the takeaways, even the Week 7 game against the Oakland Raiders. So Romeo has a way of putting his finger on the pulse of the players that he's coaching, and they play hard for him. I think that was evident in the win over Green Bay 1 week ago. So it proved to be a really good move.
Another kick, and here it goes, and Arenas will leave it in the end zone. So 1st and 10 from the 20. We just talked about Kyle Orton. Let's now move on to the offensive line. Ryan Lilja, who's from Kansas City, and John Asamoah have their hands full today with Richard Seymour and the Raider interior. And wide receiver Dwayne Bowe is closing in on his third 1,000-yard season receiving.
He's going to need to have a big day today. I think it's going to be imperative for the Kansas City Chiefs to produce on offense, Kevin. Remember, they're averaging 13 points per game. They're going to need to put more points on the board than that. They've yet to score on the opening drive.
Fake to Thomas Jones. Here's a 1st and 10 for Orton. And thrown in back of Maneri. That's Steve Maneri, who is an offensive lineman and a tackle eligible on that last play. Now for the Raider defense, Tommy Kelly was cited by numerous Raiders as a guy who's having a great season, leads them in sacks at 7.5. The in-season acquisition of Aaron Curry has been so important for this team at a linebacker position for the Raiders. And the Chiefs think that Stanford Routt is the key player in the Oakland secondary, the best of that group. 2nd down and 10. Thomas Jones weaving his way through by Giordano in the secondary and brought down by Lito Shepherd. A winding run of 22 yards to the 41, 1st down.
Oh, you talk about energy. That's what you get from Thomas Jones. Take a look. It's going to hit. There's a nice, oh, look at the block right there. And so they get to the 2nd level because you have great blocking with the offensive lineman and fullback peeling off and climbing to the next level of the defense. And we said this Kansas City Chiefs, the only team in the NFL who's yet to score on the opening drive this year.
And for the running back, Jones, that was his longest run in a month. He goes for 22 right there. Here's Thomas Jones again. Stutter step and then ushered out of bounds across the way by Aaron Curry on a gain of perhaps a yard on the play for the Chiefs.
Kansas City Chiefs, it's about running the football. That's what Romeo Crennel wants. He wants to use the run game to set up some play action passes. They're going to take some shots down the field. That's one of the things Romeo wants. He said we have to have greater point production, and we can only do that by being more aggressive in the passing game, but it starts with their ability to run it first.
Well, they feel they've got that now with Orton. Before they were starting Tyler Palko for 4 consecutive games in the wake of the injury to Matt Castle. 2nd down and 9. LaRon McClain drops the ball, and over there to meet him was Tyvon Branch.
It was McClain who had threw a really nice block for Thomas Jones on the run. But on this one, it's a play action fake one way to Thomas Jones, and they sneak McClain out in the flat. He's got to make that catch. Because we talk about being in manageable situations. That's what Kyle Orton talked about. Stay on schedule offensively instead of facing a 3rd and 9. Maybe you're looking at a 3rd and 2.
Raiders going to go with 6 in the secondary, 3rd and 9. Good block by Albert. And he tosses that away. Good coverage by the Raiders.
It's good coverage on the back end by the Raiders. Even better pressure up front on Kyle Orton. They flushed him out of the pocket. And so there's Chuck Bresnahan. You can see the pressure. It was Cameron Wembley who comes up the field, and then they pressure him. but you can't even go forward. Richard Seymour getting pressure up the middle, and then Tommy Kelly getting a hit on Kyle Orton, who's looking around for a flag.
There's Chuck Bresnahan. He was kind of questioned in the media out in the Bay Area this past week for the defense they were playing late against the Lions. And, you know, they're thinking about maybe even looking at a 3-4 defense in the coming year. They're 4-3, but now they're looking at 3-4.
After last week's epic collapse against Detroit, I'm sure they're going to look at a lot of things defensively.
Colquitt to Denarius Moore. And great spin. Jaleel Brown at the one. Well-placed punt by one of the best in the NFL, Dustin Colquitt. 54-yard punt.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Radio Shack. Radio Shack has what you need to make the holidays so right. And by the Ford F-150. Available with the efficiency and power of EcoBoost.
Christmas in Kansas City. We're just under 12 to play here in the first quarter. Raiders have gotten a 28-yard field goal after a 91-yard kickoff return to open the game. Chiefs had 5 place punt moments ago. Good punt by Colquitt. Maroons the quarterback Carson Palmer at his own 3-yard line. 1st and 10, Michael Bush in the absence of McFadden. Finding 4, and he's up to about the 7.
Kevin, we said that this was a tremendous Kansas City Chiefs defense, has been playing well as of late. When on that possession where they turned back the Oakland Raiders, who came out wanting to run the ball with Michael Bush, then they pressure Carson Palmer. They forced a 3 and out, and what could have been a touchdown, Romeo Crennel's defense only gives up a field goal. And you can see the numbers inside the red zone haven't been great, but good on that last possession.
On 2nd down and 6. Outside they go for Darius Hayward-Bay. He's got the first down. He picks up 8 on the play, and they'll be out to the 15-yard line. He had a bunch of catches last week in the loss to Detroit.
I think it's going to be imperative. And remember Hugh Jackson, we've talked to him several times this season. You can see 20 rushes with 20 yards or more, the most in the NFL. They want to run the football, Kevin. Remember he talked about wanting to be able to run the ball in the month of December? Well, they're here, and they're going to need to help Carson Palmer by running the football today.
Yeah, for games like this, cold. 1st down and 10. They'll deal with the block. Michael Bush. The linebacker fell, and that opened up the gate right there. Javon Belcher brings down Bush after a catch and run of 17 yards to the 32-yard line.
Yeah, Derek Johnson was in coverage. Here he is right here. Now watch him. He's going to go out to cover Bush, but see, he slips and falls down. And that's why Bush is wide open. He actually fell down twice. And so poor footing in the middle of the field cost the defense.
Where there is brand new grass, 1st and 10. This is Bush. Kelly Gregg jumping on him along with Dorsey. That is a gain of 3. He's out to the 35-yard line. Some of the inactives, foot injury for Jacoby Ford. Huff is out with the hamstring. McFadden missing his 8th consecutive game.
Yeah, none bigger on that inactive list than Darren McFadden. You might think that things would be different for the Raiders. Instead of playing for their playoff live today, they might be in first place in the division.
This is Marcel Reese on 2nd down and 7. And picks up a yard with a nice pursuing tackle right there by Derek Johnson, who leads the Chiefs in tackles this year.
And you can see that Hugh Jackson's trying to do some things differently, trying to go against the tendencies. Marcel Reese, big fullback, normally a hard runner inside. What do? They toss it to him on the outside. Still, the Chiefs and Derek Johnson are up to the challenge of turning back the run game for the Oakland Raiders.
That was tackle number 164 for Johnson. He has a single-season tackle record in the history of the Chiefs franchise. 3rd and a long 6. That's on the money, Denarius Moore. He was guarded on the play by Javier Arenas. It is an 8-yard pickup, a 1st down to the 44. Getting Denarius Moore back has been huge for this Raider offense.
Yeah, there he is in the slot, bottom of the screen. It's just a simple out against Javier Arenas. Now remember, the Raiders have a tremendous amount of respect for the 2 outside corners, Kevin, and Brandon Flowers and Brandon Carr. So they will look to work against Javier Arenas in that sub package if he's matched up with Denarius Moore.
Now you see the Broncos on top of the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo coming into today has lost 7. Good block by Bush on 1st and 10. Coverage by Carr on Darius Hayward-Bay. Let's look at the AFC playoff picture.
The New England Patriots, they can clinch first round bye with a win. Of course, Houston lost. So if they go ahead and win today, they could clinch that first round bye.
And that huge Jets-Giants game in the Meadowlands today.
That's going to be a biggie.
For both teams. Absolutely gigantic. 2nd down and 10. Crumbling pocket that's picked off. Derek Johnson has just intercepted his 2nd ball of the season. Palmer tosses it away. Markham with a 14-yard return at the 37-yard line of the Oakland Raiders.
Well, it's all about Carson Palmer knowing when to go down. You can see Hugh Jackson telling him, okay, now watch this. You can see the pressure coming in on Carson Palmer, and once the pressure hits him, and now you've got to get rid of, just hold on to the ball. While you're trying to force it in here, you shouldn't even try to do that. He tries to force it, it's intercepted. And Carson Palmer should have just ate it and took the sack, live to fight another day. You cannot turn the ball over.
Rookie Allen Bailey was pushing up the middle for Kansas City. Battle in the backfield. 1st and 10 for the Chiefs. Asamoah is pulling, and there's a run by Battle. It was brought down on the play by Lamar Houston. That's a gain of 6 for Battle. He's to the 31-yard line of the Oakland Raiders.
So now, look at this hit. Raiders trying to get something back. Wow. Woo. I think I could feel that one. Jackie Battle, he's a big guy himself at 6'2", 238.
Battle undrafted, went to Dallas. Kansas City practice squad, mainly a special teamer over the last couple of years. 2nd down and 4. Battle again in the absence of Jamal Charles. They had to go to running back by committee with the tackle made right there by Tyvon Branch on a gain of 3 to the 28-yard line of the Raiders. And that's not good. That's the left tackle, Brandon Alberts.
Oh, yeah, they're going to need him. He's been having a great year at that left tackle spot.
We have an injury timeout. Raiders have scored on a 28-yard field goal. We have 7:16 to play in the first. Looking at the leg of Brandon Albert, and so what they're going to do, they're going to move the right tackle Richardson over to left tackle and bring in 68 Steve Maneri. And he'll play the right tackle. 3rd down and 2. That's Dexter McCluster. Lito Shepard gets him out of bounds. That is a 1st down throw to the 23-yard line. A 6-yard catch and run. 1st down for the Chiefs.
Kevin, let's go back and take a look at what happened to the left tackle, Brandon Albert. Look over on the left side. Right there, and then you can see it's just Ryan Lilja, the left guard, who trips right over the back of his leg. And that's why he's out and injured on the play. You only hope that he can return and come back.
He started every game of his career after being a 1st-round draft choice out of the University of Virginia. Chiefs have the ball on a Derek Johnson interception of Carson Palmer. It's a 1st and 10 from the 22. Bowe. With the catch, the coverage by Stanford Routt, the pickup of 7. He's down to the 15-yard line.
Oh, this is really the Kansas City Chiefs now knocking on the door. What did Kyle Orton tell us about these red zone possessions? They've got to be able to score inside the red zone. They were 1 for 5 last week and still able to beat the Green Bay Packers. They just got the interception to set up this drive, and the last 9 times they've forced the takeaway, they've had 0 points to show.
With Jones in, 2nd down and 3. Pulling with Wigman and Lilja, and down to about the 12-yard line and close to a 1st down is Thomas Jones, who earlier in this game had a 22-yard run, the tackle made by Tommy Kelly.
Kevin, when we talked to Kyle Orton, he looked at us both. He said, we really got to be good inside the red zone. And I asked him why. He felt like the length that his wide receivers have in terms of the advantage, he felt that that was something that they should be able to take advantage of. So if he take a shot down the field to either Jonathan Baldwin or Dwayne Bowe, I wouldn't be surprised.
First down and 10. quick hitter inside. Preston. He was belted on the play by linebacker Cam Wembley. It's a gain of 4. The Chiefs were talking last week about the efficiency, the speed, Solomon, in getting the plays from the sideline out to the helmet of Horton. They said there was always some congestion before. The coaching change has made this much more efficient.
And now you can see Kyle Horton, he was looking at that band. He's in and out of the huddle early with plenty time on the clock to go in and work it. They went to the speed of Preston. Let's see if they use the size of Dwayne Bowe.
That's right. They're under huddle at 18 seconds. 2nd down and 7. Shaky battle. The Avalanche are rated defenders right there. Getting off that pile, the multiple Pro Bowler Richard Seymour. It is a gain of 1, and they'll put him at the 9.
Well, they're finding it hard to move the ball on the ground against Tommy Kelly, Richard Seymour, Desmond Bryant, the interior guys for this Oakland Raiders defense. They're huge. They're massive. Throw in a 6'7", 335-pound John Henderson. Talking about 4 big bodies in the middle of that defensive line, so they got to start working on the edges.
The Raiders are 26th against the run. They've been struggling in that category. There's a 3rd and a long 6 for Kyle Horton out of Purdue. Jones, Asamoah the pull. Tackle made by Cam Wembley. It's a gain of 3. He's down to the 5, and the Kansas City Chiefs will try to tie it. So both defenses do their job in the red zone against the opposing offense.
Yeah, very surprised. They ran it twice, only threw it once to Steve Preston down inside the red zone where they go 3 and out. And I thought that red zone possession lacked creativity. It lacked a little luster. They didn't throw the ball into the end zone, didn't take any shots with their talented wide receivers.
So here's the 23-yard field goal by Ryan Suckup. He has made 21 consecutive field goals. If he hits this, this will tie a franchise record of consecutive hits. And they tied the game at 3. He and Pete Stoyanovich are the 2 now with 22 in a row. Intercepted was the quarterback Carson Palmer. The Chiefs get 3 in 3:06 to play in the first. Ryan Suckup with that field goal. Pete Stoyanovich was let go by Miami, came to Kansas City in the late 90s, and he had a stretch of 22 in a row. And Suckup, who is having another terrific year. It's interesting, Suckup missed 3 of his first 4 field goal attempts to begin the season. Boy, has he tightened the screws since then. Deep back on this kickoff is McCann. He returned the first one, 91 yards. Let's see what he does right here. Finds a seam, and then DeMario Williams brings them to the grass here in Kansas City, out for a 31-yard return. Here comes Carson Palmer, tied at 3. That's former NFL quarterback Jim Zorn there in that black Chiefs jacket, going over some of the Polaroids. They're taking the pictures of the defense. Here's a 1st and 10 from the 34. Palmer going deep and looking for more, in the coverage on the play by Brandon Flowers. Upcoming 2nd and 10. Let's take you to New York and James Brown.
Hey, Kevin, vintage Tebow, Shannon.
Yes. Tim Tebow, 1-yard TD run. Touchdown Broncos. Back to Kevin Harlan and Solomon Wilcox.
Hey, by the way, give me a Kevin Harlan. Give me a Kevin Harlan.
With no regard for humankind.
Merry Christmas. 2nd down and 10. You sounded pretty good there.
It was very good.
I like that. Bring it home, Shannon. Bring it home. Michael Bush. Nice tackle from behind. Amon Gordon giving him a gain of only 2 yards to the 36.
And remember, this Chiefs defense, they made Aaron Rodgers uncomfortable in the pocket. They're doing the same to Carson Palmer. Now, this ball's going to be dropped by Darius Hayward-Bay, but Carson Palmer's got to find himself and settle in the pocket and not put the ball in harm's way. Sometimes you may have to eat it. 4 interceptions so far in the less than 4 quarters of 2 games that he's played against the Chiefs.
6 in the secondary for Kansas City. 3rd and 8. Looking for Hushmanzada. That's picked off. On the deflection, there's a flag thrown. Javier Arenas out of bounds about the 15, but that flag may be interference, and it may be on Kansas City's defense, as they're going for T.J. Hushmanzada.
Hey, Carson Palmer, you got to take better care of the ball. Right now, if I'm Hugh Jackson, I'm really concerned. Because, yeah, this one may come back, but you've got to take better care of the ball.
Mike Carey, a referee in Super Bowl
Before
42.
the pass, holding, defense number 21, 5-yard penalty automatic, first down.
Yeah, that's Javier Arenas. And we said that they were going to go after Javier Arenas. In the slot corner in the sub package. You can see him right there against TJ. Oh, yeah, he pulls him. He pulls him. But I don't believe that ball was thrown with great accuracy where only TJ Hushmanzada can get it. Yes, there was some holding, but that ball has to be placed better, closer to the wide receiver as opposed to where the defender Javier Arenas can make a play on. That's why I believe the Raiders have to be able to run the ball, Kevin. I don't know that you want to come in here and try to allow Carson to throw it 40 times as he did last week against Detroit.
Rock Cartwright is in the backfield, first down and 10. He offers a block. Up the middle, Hali can't get to the quarterback, Palmer. That's Tunga who takes it along the sideline, close to a first down, hit out of bounds by Belcher, pickup of 10, back to James in New York.
Cincy still hoping for the postseason.
Yes, on the day before Christmas, Andy Dalton, the red rifle, gave to me, JB. An 11-yard touchdown. It's 10-0 Bengals, 10-0 Bengals, and back to Kevin and Solly.
Kevin and Solly, he's wired up.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I see the coffee's really flowing in the studio today, JB.
Or the eggnog, one of the two. All right, Shannon, James, thank you. Here's a first down. Tunga took it on a catch and run to the 48 of Kansas City. End around Denarius Moore. Got a block from his tight end on the play, Richard Gordon. A flag is down. A gain right there is 6. Has the ball as we stand, spotted at the Kansas City 42. This Denarius Moore is one of the bright rookies in the NFL. He was injured, but since he's come back, he's made certainly an impact. He was a high school track champion in Texas, went to Tennessee.
Holding, offense number 82, 10-yard penalty, still first down.
Another penalty, and that is on Richard Gordon. He's a rookie. Subscribe to NFL Magazine, the new official monthly magazine of the National Football League, available at NFL.com/magazine and newsstands everywhere. Nice publication. Look at Hugh Jackson. A lot of penalties on this team.
They came in with 140 penalties. That's an average of 10 per game. You know, you give other teams second chances when you have so many penalties, and really negates your ability to be consistent.
It's first and 20. Marcel Reese, the college wide receiver, brought down by Glenn Dorsey. Former Lombardi Outland Trophy winner. No gain on the play. They stay at the 42.
Wow, he's a former first-round pick. Glenn Dorsey, Tyson Jackson, with Kelly Gregg in the middle of that 3-4 defensive line. They play very well, and you know, they're just starting to come into their own. And that's why Romeo Crennel has really, I think, worked wonders with his defense. Boy, they're playing very well.
64-year-old Romeo Crennel, the second oldest coach right now, head coach in the NFL. Second down and 20. Screen, Rock Cartwright out of Kansas State. Tyson Jackson jumping on his back at midfield. That's a catch run of 8 yards for Rock Cartwright. That's going to take us to the end of the first quarter. We began with fireworks here on Christmas Eve. A 91-yard kickoff return by Brian McCann. A field goal for the Raiders, a field goal for the Chiefs. At the end of one, we are tied at 3 on Christmas Eve in Kansas City. Well, coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report from our CBS studios in New York, join JB, Shannon, Dan Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for the NFL scores and highlights of the day. A lot of news, too, coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report. Each of these teams coming in with playoff hopes alive, but they need Denver to lose today in Buffalo. We just showed you that Tebow has put the Broncos on top 7-0. This Oakland team controlled their own destiny coming into the month of December, but 3 straight losses have them at 7-7. Here we start the second quarter with a 3rd and 12. And the Raiders have struggled on 3rd and long all season, as you can see. That will be caught, and a good catch it is. T.J. Hushmanzada, 11-yard pickup, shy of a first down by a yard to the Chiefs' 40-yard line, working on Kendrick Lewis.
You know, T.J. Hushmanzada is the one wide receiver that Carson has a great deal of confidence and feel for. Remember, they played together for years in Cincinnati. Now, this is just anticipation. See the break? The ball was thrown well before T.J. made his cut. Now, he didn't extend it beyond the first down marker. Had a great route, but not enough to pick up the first down.
Here's Shane Leckler, the #1 punter in the NFL. Javier Arenas is the #3 punt returner in the league. He's back at the 10. And there is a slight breeze in the Raider punter's face. And well placed. Look at that great punt with great spot at the 5. He may someday be in Canton. A 34-yard, well-placed punt. 1 minute of the second quarter, tied at 3. 28-yard field goal by the Raiders. 23-yard field goal by Kansas City. Carson Palmer has been picked off. Here's a 1st and 10 for the Chiefs, and Jackie Battle out of the University of Houston carries a pile past the 10. Giordano brings him down after a gain of 5.
Kevin, let's take a look at some coaches that turned their interim tag into successful tenures. Marty Schottenheimer started off as an interim coach in Cleveland. Don Coryell did the same thing in San Diego and went on to be successful. Marv Levy started out as an interim coach with the Bills. And how about this, Jeff Fisher? Before his 16 seasons with the Titans, he was the interim coach with the Houston Oilers. So Romeo Crennel is hoping to turn his interim tag into the permanent head coach here with the Kansas City Chiefs. So far off to a good start.
2nd down and 5 on a quick count. And they got Terrence Copper with his 5th reception of the season. It's a gain of 7. He's out to the 17. That's a first down throw by quarterback Kyle Orton. Wembley on the stop.
Yeah, they don't start off with good field position, but the protection holds up. And I think if you can get Kyle Orton comfortable in the pocket, he'll start to find the receivers. Boy, Wembley doing one heck of a job. He's had a phenomenal season for the Oakland Raiders. Real good on this defense.
Last week, Orton hit 10 different Kansas City receivers. There's McCluster in the backfield now with a first down and 10. Brandon Albert is back in for Kansas City on this series. That's an incomplete pass. Albert was hurt, you may recall, in a series before. He's back there. They move Richardson back to the right tackle. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, they were bringing pressure. They were blitzing, dropping a few, but bringing more than they can block. There's Desmond Bryant. He was able to come off.
Grounding. Offense number 8. 10-yard penalty. Loss of down. 2nd down.
And the Raiders were lobbying. That flag was thrown very late, Kevin. The Raiders defenders were sort of pleading their case to the officials, saying that it was intentional grounding. I thought there was a receiver nearby. Wasn't very close, but certainly one in the general vicinity.
We talked to Kyle yesterday. He was telling us that he thinks that the Raiders are doing some different things in coverage this year.
Yeah, they are. They're blitzing. They're playing man, playing zone behind it. Yeah, we didn't see anyone there. But just over to the right was Dexter McCluster. We said general vicinity, but not close enough.
So it becomes 2nd down and 18 for the Chiefs. Battle. A ton of room. Richard Seymour. Giordano right there with a gain of 5, and with the stop, Rolando McClain. An interesting talk with Kyle Orton. He's very excited to come to Kansas City. He says, I see a lot of opportunity. He will be a free agent at the end of the season.
Yeah, he said he didn't want to project too much into the future. He said, right now, I'm the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. I want to help this team get to the playoffs, but you get the sense he's very happy to be here. And with Matt Castle being on the injured list, done for the year, he has a real opportunity.
There's a 3rd and 13, McCluster. And then tackled across the way by Stanford Rout. It is a gain of 5. And up to the 18. Boy, he's had the command. He's been under the command of a lot of guys here recently.
And when you have so many head coaches in a short time in your NFL career, it can be detrimental, I think, to the development of a young quarterback. For Kyle Orton, though, he is sort of grown and learned from every system he's been in. And I think we saw that last week against Green Bay. He's a veteran quarterback that can step on the field and translate things very quickly and be very productive.
Colquitt to Denarius Moore. From the 34, hang time of 4.59. There he's brought down Studebaker. Andy Studebaker grabbing him. Loss of 2, 46-yard punt. Colquitt puts him there, and that's where Orton sits next to Jim Zorn, talking things over in a 3-3 ball game. Extra offensive lineman is in on this series. It's Stephon Heyer on that offensive line for Oakland after the Kansas City punt. Michael Bush on 1st and 10. They run to the side where Heyer was. Langford along with Derek Johnson make the stop. It's a gain of 6. A flag is down. Right now the gain till about the 38-yard line. Gain of about 6 on the play. As mentioned before about Mike Carey, he was the referee in Super Bowl 42. Lives down in San Diego area. Makes surfboards, ski boards as well as Mike.
69 of the offense, who originally reported eligible, was covered up, making him ineligible before the snap. That's a legal formation against the offense, 5 yards, still first down.
Well, tomorrow on 60 Minutes, a journey to some of the most important sites in all of Christianity on a special Christmas edition of 60 Minutes. That's tomorrow, and it's only on CBS. First down and 15, 45-year-old Hugh Jackson, a long-time assistant, first time as a head coach.
Yeah, and remember, he's done a really good job of this offense, but now as we get late into the season, I think they've got to be much more productive, particularly running the football.
Again, they have 6 offensive linemen. 1st and 15 for Palmer. Denarius Moore at the 46 and covered on the play by Brandon Flowers. A 20-yard pickup and a first down for the Raiders.
Now watch the tight coverage by Flowers. And it's a very small window where Palmer has to fit this ball in. Tight coverage, but he gets it into Denarius Moore. And so you don't have a lot of room for error. If you're Carson Palmer, you're working against these defensive backs for the Kansas City Chiefs. You better be on the money or they'll make you pay.
1st and 10. Michael Bush, Greg chasing him. Brought down across the way by Justin Houston. It's a gain of 5 to the 48 as we gain New York. In our studios, James Brown.
Dolphins, nemesis of the Patriots.
66 yards on this drive, JB, did Brandon Marshall have. The last 19 came, touchdown, Matt Moore. They're up over the Patriots, 10-0 early.
Patriots have won 35 of 38 in the month of December. All 3 losses to Miami. Back to Kevin.
How about that? Thank you, James. Now a 10-zip lead. And, of course, if New England goes on to win.
Illegal formation, offense, number 75, and ineligible was lined up in the eligible position. 5-yard penalty is still second down.
That's Stephon Heyer. There's Khalif Barnes is over there saying, look at this. They're putting in the extra offensive lineman, and that is where the Raiders are running.
But if you report, then you can line up on the line of scrimmage. So now there's some communication where they're pulling the officials back over to Hugh Jackson for further explanation. No, they're going to say, no, it stands. So they just have to do a better job of communicating with the officials. If you're going to put in an offensive lineman at that tight end position, you have to report.
Well, they just wiped out the play, so it is 1st and 15. And a quick shot outside. That is Darius Hayward-Bay. It is a gain of 5 on the play. And the coverage and tackle made by Brandon Carr.
So many penalties for the Oakland Raiders. I went back last year, and remember, they were undefeated in the AFC West Division. And, of course, they led the league in penalties then. One would wonder, well, how can you win every game in your division and not make the playoffs? I think because of those penalties, that's the thing that cost them a division title. You can see still a problem that plagues them today.
Barnes back in at that right tackle on 2nd and 10 for Palmer. Flag, 1, 2. Honda outside. Chased and brought down by Javon Belcher. There's no gain on the play at the 47-yard line. I'm assuming that sometimes these penalties on the Raiders get the opponent, regardless of who it is, a little bit out of their game as well.
Well, I think if you're playing against the Raiders, you stay within yourself, knowing that they're going to make some mistakes.
There were fouls on both teams on the play, holding offense number 68 and holding defense number 50. Those fouls offset, second down.
Yeah, see, there is no doubt about it. This one is on Justin Houston. He was working against Kevin Boss, and Boss, half his shoulder pads were sticking out. I think they kind of figured that out, but yeah, there's going to be other times where the other team's going to have some penalties, but I think if you're playing against the Raiders, you got to say to yourself, stay within your game and allow them to be who they are, because they've shown a long repeated pattern of having these penalties and crucial errors that you really just go ahead and allow them to beat themselves, and you can't play into their game, Kevin.
Raiders have brought in another offensive lineman, so Khalif Barnes, 69, is eligible. Higher is the right tackle. Second down and 10. The block by Bush. Incomplete for Darius Hayward-Bay. Flag is down. Coverage on the play by Brandon Carr, who today is making his 63rd consecutive start in the secondary after being a 5th-round pick 4 years ago.
Third consecutive play with a penalty flag. They're everywhere.
Slows things down.
You may be right. You may have something to that comment you made. The other team starts to become effective.
Pass interference. Defense number 39 from the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
So that goes on the aforementioned Brandon Carr.
We showed you the tight coverage with Javier Arenas. He was grabbing jersey. And there is Brandon Carr grabbing jersey. You know, I'm not so against the grabbing jersey. Pass interference mean that whatever you're doing to that player once he's 5 yards down the field, that you're really obstructing his ability to make the catch. I don't know that Carr obstructed his opportunity to catch the ball.
Bush on 1st and 10. Tamba Hali brings him down, drives him to the 41-yard line, gain of 3. Let's go back to New York and James.
Baltimore's smelling division title, and
The guy that needs to touch the ball as much as the quarterback is this guy, Ray Rice. 89 total yards, 42 of it came here on a touchdown from Joe Flacco. 17-0. The Ravens are rolling over Cleveland.
a Baltimore win and a Pittsburgh loss would accomplish just that. Back to Kevin and Solid.
Shannon, of course, used to play for Baltimore. Rice is such a huge component of that offense.
When the offense goes through him, good things usually happen.
Second down, 7 more. At the 35, Langford and Flowers were there, and the rookie Moore picks up 5. They'll be at the 37, 36-yard line of Kansas City.
Oh, here's the snap, and then if you're Carson Palmer, just flip it out there. Ball not thrown perfectly, but look at Moore. He goes and gets it. That ball was not on the money. And you can see Flowers slipped on the play. I think had Carson Palmer put the ball up high where he should have, would have been an easy first down for Denarius Moore.
Timeout. Carson Palmer takes a timeout. 7:33 to play before halftime. Raiders on the move.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. The Samsung Galaxy S2. The next big thing is already here. And by Acura. Acura Advance.
Boy, that guy's going to be busy later tonight, huh? Man alive.
Yeah, you better get to work. He's going to enjoy the game first, right?
There's no overtime here. 3rd down and 2. After the Oakland timeout. Bush. Langford had a swipe at him. Tambahali brings him down. There's a gain of about a half yard on the play to the 36. He's still a yard shy of a first down.
Only 18 rushing yards so far for the Oakland Raiders. They come in wanting to run the ball, but simply can't. Against this rock-hard Kansas City Chiefs defense, they have done a great job of stonewalling one running back after another. Whether it's Michael Bush, Marcel Reese, neither guy, they're barely getting back to the line of scrimmage, Kevin. And remember, if they can't run the ball, it's going to be tough to protect Carson Palmer.
Leckler's going to hold for Sebastian Janikowski in a 53-yard field goal try. had one of 51 yards last weekend. It's a fake. Leckler gives off, and this is Brandon Myers, the tight end. Langford chasing. That is an Oakland Raider touchdown. Delay of game against Oakland. Can you believe that?
Before the snap, delay of the game, offense, 5-yard penalty and still 4th down.
They just woke up the crowd here at Arrowhead. And we talked about it, allowing the Oakland Raiders to shoot themselves in the foot. And not even Hugh Jackson can believe it. And there you see it. They flip it over to Myers, and he's going to outrun the entire defense for what should be a touchdown. But they don't get the ball snapped in time. They're bringing out Sebastian Janikowski again, and maybe they will get the field goal.
Well, let me tell you something. For most guys, this would be out of field goal range.
Not Sebastian Janikowski.
He hit a 60-yarder from this exact spot before the game going in this direction. We know he's kicked a league-tying 63-yard field goal opening weekend Monday night in Denver. Right now, he's going to try a 58-yard field goal.
Can you imagine? This guy has not been to a Pro Bowl in his career. Yeah. He makes this one. Let's go ahead and send him to Hawaii.
The wind is a little bit cross from the far to the near sideline. 58-yard try for the lead. And he sends it. Oh, it hit the crossbar. It hit the crossbar, and there was a knock, it looked like, by Brandon Flowers.
There's the clock on the first non-field goal attempt when they faked it. Go zeros, then they snap the ball, and now here is the miss. So in 2 opportunities to score, the Oakland Raiders come up goose eggs.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. And by Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach.
And this field goal of 58 yards by Sebastian Janikowski. After what was looking to be a fake and a touchdown, but a delay of game, wipes it away. Here's McCluster in the backfield. 1st and 10 for Kyle Orton. Dexter McCluster with the fake. Orton is brought down by Seymour with his 7th sack. A loss of 9. A flag is down. So here in the pregame was Janikowski knocking through 60 yarders. After the penalty, he tried a 58. Same side. Now back in the 60s, there was a little known rule put in that you could not stand underneath the crossbar and knock it away. It was by a San Francisco 49er player by the name of R.C. Owens in the 60s who knocked the ball away. So that's why the officiating crew was standing by and had to discuss if the ball was rejected like a basketball player or if it actually hit the crossbar. It did hit the crossbar, and so it was a missed field goal.
And you can see Brandon Flowers saying, I didn't touch it. I think he knew the rule, as you certainly knew the rule. You just have loads of information today.
Trying to stay on it. There was a penalty against the Raiders. It is a 1st and 10, and this is the shifty McCluster running for 6. Brought down on the play by Lamar Houston and by Desmond Bryant. The gain to the 40-yard line of the Raiders.
You know, Dexter McCluster is one of those guys that I think gives this Kansas City Chiefs offense a matchup advantage. If you can get him matched up against a linebacker in space or maybe a safety who's not as fast, they want to get the ball to him, but he's not a real big guy, so to keep him healthy after every single play, they got to get him off the field.
Thomas Jones in on this 2nd down and 4. Draw play handoff, and he finds some room. It's a gain of 5. He's down to the 35-yard line. He's kind of awakened here in the midst of a coaching change in Kansas City. He gets a 1st down.
Oh, he's always important to this football team, obviously, with this energy and the zest and zeal he brings to the game. But watch 51, Aaron Curry. He blitzes. He comes in unblocked, still not able to make the tackle because Thomas Jones, great vision, saw Curry, 51, coming through as an unblocked defender and able to elude him in the backfield. So real positive play by Thomas Jones.
Now Jackie Battle is in on 1st down and 10. Boom, bobbled the ball. That may be a fumble. and it's picked up quickly by Lamar Houston. They're saying it was incomplete. They wipe it away. It is incomplete.
Wow.
There's a flag, and that because he spiked the ball. Yep.
That's just the Raiders. That's a problem.
Wow.
But here's the deal. I think Dwayne Bowe was committing a football act.
I agree.
It looked as if he had that ball. Now, if you're Richard Seymour, walk away.
Incomplete pass. Long after the ball was incomplete. Delay of the game. Oakland number 99 and the spike in the middle of the field. The play is dead. Second down after a 5-yard penalty.
Wow, you're just giving this Chiefs offense second chance opportunity. See the football play? That, to me, that appeared to be a football move by Dwayne Bowe. If you have the ball and you take a step or two and you create what we call a football act, that's a fumble. Now, Lamar Houston ought to know the rules because the officials go to every team's facility in the summer during training camp, and they have education for players of what is a dead ball foul. You can't kick the ball or throw it after the whistle is blown. You have to give it back to the official.
Well, at first I thought it was a football move. I'm gonna take the opposite side. I don't think he had it.
You're going back the other way?
Incompletion, yep.
You live in town, don't you?
No. Second down and 5. McCluster's back there. Screen pass to McCluster. Blocked by Whitman. Back out of bounds by Curry. Tyvon Branch. This is what makes him so tough. It's a catch and run of 7 on the play by Dexter McCluster.
No, we told you he's a weapon every time he goes on the field. But see, he made a play. Now he's jogging off the field. But every time he gets on the field, they designed something like this, a little screen for him. And look at him just hit the first down marker. He finishes off the run. Wow. Oh, Tyvon Branch now, he's a hitter in his own right, but Dexter McCluster taking it to the bigger Tyvon Branch.
Nice block out there, too, by Casey Wigman, now in his 16th season today. His 173rd consecutive start. 1st and 10. Fake the battle. Steve Preston. Flag. Lito Shepard on the coverage. The game right now down to about the 13-yard line of the Raiders.
Now, guess who this is on, if you were taking a guess.
Well, I cannot figure out why this team cannot correct this problem. Hugh Jackson in training camp said that is my goal this season, is to bring our penalty level down.
Before the pass, holding defense number 26. The result of the play is short of the line of game, so we'll accept the penalty 5 yards, automatic. First down.
That's on Stanford route.
Oh, take a look. He's working against Dwayne Bowe. See, he's going down, so he just grabbed him. And that's why the penalty flag. Now, I will say this. Had he not grabbed him, we'd be looking at a touchdown right about now because I'm sure Kyle Orton would have threw the ball for a touchdown. But see, already 8 penalties here in the first half. 148, by far the most in the National Football League. And this is something that predates Hugh Jackson as the head coach of the Oakland Raiders.
Jarvis Moss being helped off the field. There's an injury timeout and 4:20 to play here in the first half. Hugh Jackson in his first year trying to change some of the things with the Raiders, including the penalties, and struggling today as we take a break. They've taken Jarvis Moss off the field. Desmond Bryant taking his place. Normal rotation for the Raiders. It's the 1st and 10 for Kansas City. Jackie Battle. He bulldozes his way down to about the 7-yard line. Kelly was down there. Giordano long with McClain. A gain of 9 for Jackie Battle.
You know, more on these penalties. You see the pass interference, illegal contact, roughing the passer. Those are aggressive football-type penalties. But the offsides and personal fouls, those are dead ball fouls that really lack mental discipline and awareness. And I think those are the ones that you certainly can avoid. And they have the most of any team in the National Football League, and I think that's where more education from the coaches to the players just has to be received, and you have to improve in those areas.
That looked like Beck's move. He was one of 2 tight ends.
Offense number 20. 5-yard penalty, it's still 2nd down.
Backfield in motion there with Thomas Jones. That'll make it 2nd down and 6 for Jones, who is much more than just a running back with this team. His leadership is just invaluable for this ball club.
No one works harder than Thomas Jones, and certainly players aren't perfect, but over 10,000 career rushing yards. He works hard. He's got pelts on the wall. So when he comes in and shows up early for film and in the weight room, I think other guys get in line. And he's a vocal leader as well. And other guys follow that lead.
2nd down and 6 with McCluster in the backfield for Bowe. What great defense by Stanford Routt. Incomplete pass. It looked like he lunged in front of the ball, knocked it away from Bo.
It looked like he got a hand in there just enough to distract Bo. See, it's right on the chest of Bo, so the ball gets into his body. But watch the left hand of Stanford Routt. Look at him flash right in there with the right hand. With the right hand. Very good play. You can't time it up any better than that. If you throw a flag on that one, I got to go against that one. I think it was just tough, hard-fought coverage by Stanford Routt. And obviously, Bo had an opportunity to catch it.
Bo hasn't had a touchdown reception since October. 3rd down and 6. Here comes Bryant. There goes Orton. That's intercepted. And Matt Giordano with an entourage. A block by Van Dyke. A lead block up here by McClain. And he's brought down by McCluster. An end zone interception thrown by Kyle Orton. And a 61-yard return. The Raider D's standing up with a huge play.
Now watch it. Kyle Orton never sees him. So he starts looking to one side. He never sees Stanford Routt because in his progression, he started on the left, comes clear back to the right, and Giordano did a wonderful job of stepping right into the passing lane, and Dexter McCluster saves a touchdown because he's going to haul in Matt Giordano, who's now leading the Raiders, this being his 4th interception of the season. He's done a phenomenal job since stepping in. And Kyle Orton never saw Matt Giordano standing in the end zone.
That is the 4th red zone takeaway by the Oakland Raiders this season. We'll blow that baby dead.
False start. Offense number 87. 5-yard penalty is still 2nd down.
That's on the former Giant, the tight end, Kevin Boss. Coming up next from our CBS studios, the Sprint Halftime Report. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowers with scores, news, and highlights. That's coming up on the Sprint Halftime Report from New York. So both quarterbacks have thrown interceptions today. But that one for Kansas City, mighty costly. As they were moving in. 1st and 15. Palmer going deep, and that was almost picked off. May have been deflected by Johnson and through the hands of Kendrick Lewis as they were looking deep for Denarius Moore.
Well, wow. Khalif Barnes had his hands full trying to keep Tamba Hali. Watch the right side, number 91. See, that pressure forces Palmer to have to step up and throw this into a team meeting. There's more red jerseys there than there are offensive players for the Oakland Raiders. So it was well defended on the front end. We said that pressure leads to picks for the Kansas City Chiefs. The pressure provided by Tamba Hali nearly intercepted on the back end in the secondary.
Chiefs have gone to the nickel. 2nd down and 15. Bush. And brought down by Langford. He's in there taking the place of McGraw today, who is injured. That's a gain of 6 by Michael Bush, who is a 4th-round pick out of Louisville. He spent his entire season, his senior year in Louisville, with a broken leg and couldn't play.
Yeah, and spent most of that first year in complete rehab with the Oakland Raiders. They were very patient with him for his return, and since he's been able to play, he's always been productive, both running and catching the football.
It's 3rd down and 9. That's intercepted. Picked off by Arenas. The 2nd interception thrown by Carson Palmer, who does not look sharp today. Palmer throws a pick, his 15th of the season. Arenas comes up with his 2nd of the season. Carson Palmer taking a look at the pictures from upstairs, throwing his 2nd interception moments ago after Giordano had a great interception for the Raiders in the end zone off of Kyle Orton on the 38, 1st and 10. And McCluster brought down, nice tackle by Mike Mitchell on a gain of 4 to the 42.
Let's take a look at the interception. In the slot, you're going to see Javier Arenas matched up with TJ Hushmanzada. Now watch it. Carson Palmer right now thinks he's in man-to-man coverage with TJ, but he's going to come off that coverage and flash to the flat to get the interception. Quick snap had to come off our replay, but Carson Palmer was fooled into thinking that Javier Arenas was locked up in man-to-man coverage, when in reality he was going to flash over to the flat to steal the interception on the ball intended for the outside receiver.
On that 2nd down and 6, there was a catch made by Becht of 6. There goes a flag, and here's a 1st and 10.
Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty is still first.
That is on the left tackle, Brandon Albert. We've always thought that the front 7 of the Raiders was as good a front 7 as you would find in the entire NFL.
Yeah, but they have, I think, declined as the season has gone on. They have not been as productive, not been able to get nearly as many sacks in terms of pressures on the quarterback. And whether it's just they're wearing down, whether it's the scheme and the defense teams figuring them out. We saw a 4th quarter lead blown where they had a 13-point lead against Detroit last week. And on 2 consecutive drives, Detroit goes 71 yards and 98 yards against this really good defense to win the game at home. And so I think you have to question whether or not the conditioning is there and just how committed they are to trying to win a division title.
1st and 15. Jonathan Baldwin. Van Dyke, that was rookie against rookie. Van Dyke knocking him out of bounds. 10-yard pickup. Chiefs 3 timeouts.
Right now, Kyle Orton is getting it going with his receivers. And we talked to him because I think Carson Palmer is dealing with the same thing. Wasn't even in training camp with his team. And now he has to come in and develop chemistry with wide receivers who you rarely know. That's a very difficult thing to happen for a quarterback.
End of 6 defensive backs. 2nd down and 5. Route was over there watching Bo. A flag, and it was late coming in. It was an incomplete pass. Route had his hands full last week against Detroit's Calvin Johnson. Today he's got Pro Bowler Dwayne Bowe. It's been a tough couple of assignments for the number 1 cornerback on this Raider team, Stanford Route.
And he was glued. I mean, he was like Velcro to Dwayne Bowe. Now,
Pass interference. Defense number 26. And the spot of foul, automatic. First down.
Now, Route is an aggressive defender. I thought he's playing this very aggressive. Look at this. But you have to take your hands off of him. See, he was still holding there as the ball was coming in. Clearly holding, but that's how you want your corner to play. But you have to know to take your hands off the receiver before the ball arrives.
Orton with the 1st and 10. There's Bo with the catch. 17-yard pickup. He is over 1,000 yards this season. Again, for the 3rd time in his career, Bo with a 1,000-yard receiving campaign. 17-yard pickup right there. 1st and 10. And going to Bo, the coverage by Route, and they were jousting pretty good inside the 5, incomplete.
And you can see the Kansas City Chiefs going with their no huddle, trying to change the tempo of this game. And you get the sense that whenever there's a penalty flag against the Oakland Raiders, what the Romeo Crennel and the Chiefs are trying to do is trying to catch this defense back on their heels. They're a little bit complaining and confused about the penalty flags. You know the Raiders got to be growing frustrated already with 10 penalties in this game, trying to catch them off balance, take some shots down the field.
5 in the secondary right now. 2nd down and 5. Blitz. And that is incomplete. Great pressure. Quentin Groves among a couple. Tyvon Branch racing in.
You know, sometimes quarterbacks have to be athletic enough to get rid of the ball. Because look at this. I don't think he saw Tyvon Branch.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 8. 10-yard penalty. Loss of down. 3rd down.
It's the 2nd intentional grounding call against Kyle Orton this game. He didn't see Tyvon Branch until he was right on top of him. You could see Tyvon Branch was blitzing from the word go. I think Orton should have read it sooner, gotten rid of the ball sooner. Look at the penalties today by the Raiders. Miscues as well. Just a sloppy first half, I think, by both teams, Kevin, because we have 3 turnovers and 16 penalties combined for both teams.
Well, a couple desperate teams that are still very much alive in the playoff race. And by the way, they are not flashing the Denver-Buffalo score here.
Intentional grounding under a minute requires a 10-second runoff.
Right.
However, Kansas City will use a timeout to save it. Timeout.
Nice explanation by Mike Carey, our referee. And upset Kyle Orton, tied at 3. We talked about that Denver game as Kansas City has taken a timeout. They are on top in Buffalo, or rather behind in Buffalo, 17-7. 7 consecutive losses for the Bills coming into today. We saw them last week, and Miami got them. So that's huge for these two teams right here. It means that everybody is definitely in play. Certainly the winner here.
I said it in our NFL Today report that, if Denver loses there and Kansas City gets a win, can you imagine Kyle Orton going back to Denver, playing against the Broncos with a division title on the line? That would just simply be amazing.
There was no timeout. There was no timeout.
They called a back-to-back timeout. Orton called a timeout. We took the break. We came back. We showed you the score, and Orton called another timeout. You can't take back-to-back timeouts.
Oh, you can't do that.
And they're probably right now.
Delay a game.
Be the runoff.
Offense. 5-yard penalty is still 3rd down.
Hugh Jackson was on top of that. 17th penalty in the first half. 17 penalties so far. He's one of the more affable guys you're going to meet in the league. We're big fans of Hugh Jackson's, but he's got to be so frustrated with the way this team has been handling penalties this season. 3rd down and 26. There's a false start on the Chiefs.
False start. Offense number 67. 5-yard penalty is still 3rd.
Which goes back to the question I asked you before the game. Will the opponent sometimes get swept into the penalties being called on the Raiders?
And you notice I was taking the high road on that one. But clearly, the Raiders, or I should say the Chiefs, have been goaded into this one. You can see the penalties today, and combined by both teams, it's been a sloppy first half, and both teams have to do a better job of concentrating and executing.
3rd and 31. And he's got Leonard Pope, the tight end, who is quickly wrapped up by Rolando McClain. That is a pickup of 13, but the key there is they get into field goal range unless they're going to just keep the offense on the field for 4th down. And let the clock run down here, and Suckup will get a shot at it. One of the big players in this game was a little bit earlier when the Raiders had. They looked like they were going for a 53-yard field goal. Leckler got the snap. He then pitched it out to the crossing tight end, Brandon Myers, who then galloped into the end zone, but it was a delay of game against the Raiders, so a touchdown was taken away.
Yeah, that was amazing, and Hugh Jackson's not happy with the fact that the defense allowed an easy completion to Leonard Pope over the middle of the field to have an opportunity to even kick this field goal. Hugh Jackson is really not happy with the way that his team is performing today, and defensively, they've got to contest every opportunity for Kyle Orton to complete a pass. That pass is just way too easy completed to Pope to set up this field goal opportunity.
So here comes Suckup, who has not missed a field goal since late September. The hold will come from Colquitt. That was week 3, by the way, against San Diego. This is a 49-yard try to give Kansas City the lead here at halftime. Now a timeout taken by the Raiders.
Timeout. Oakland, their second. 30-second timeout.
This was set up on a Javier Arenas interception of Palmer. Palmer has thrown 2 first-half interceptions so far. Well, keep up your fantasy football season going with Playoff Challenge and compete against the nation for a chance to win $5,000. Sign up now at cbssports.com/challenge. On this Christmas Eve, Raiders got into town last night about 7 o'clock after a good week of practice, but a disheartening loss last week against Detroit. And they gave up 14 points in the last 5 minutes, actually 4:59 of the game. To lose that was their 3rd consecutive loss, but they brought some confidence into this one. They had won their last 4 consecutive games in Arrowhead Stadium. Here is a 49-yard field goal try. Ryan Suckup out of South Carolina. It was blocked inside. It was picked up by Giordano, who has an interception already today. And then he was brought down by Albert and by Asamoah. Oh, and he is holding on to his leg. That is tough right there for journeyman Matt Giordano. The block inside by the Raiders. And you couldn't tell from that angle who got it.
And then Giordano's going to scoop it up, but he's going to take a hit to his lower leg, and let's hope he's going to be okay.
We're at halftime in Kansas City. Festive Kansas City on this Christmas Eve. A lot of penalties, 2 interceptions by the Kansas City Chiefs on Carson Palmer. 1 end zone interception thrown by Kyle Orton. A Richard Seymour blocked field goal there late in the first half. What are your thoughts?
Just a comedy of errors. I would expect one of these teams to step up because, let's face it, there's still a division title hanging out there for someone to just grab it and take it. I'm waiting to see what team's going to step up in the second half.
All right, let's take a look now at our Droid Razor play presented by Motorola.
Well, it's a red zone interception. Kyle Orton picked off by Matt Giordano as the Chiefs looked like they were going in for a score, looking as if they wanted to take command of this football game. But Matt Giordano not only picked him off, set sail on a nice little return. You can see the first half stats. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs leading the Raiders in rush yards, and I think that's critical. That's why Carson Palmer has thrown 2 costly interceptions. That accounts for the 2 turnovers by the Oakland Raiders. If the Raiders can't run the ball, it puts more on Carson Palmer. Right now, this defense is just smothering Carson Palmer in terms of the pressure on the front end and picking off passes on the back end.
$28-yard field goal by Janikowski. 23-yard field goal by the Chiefs. Ryan Suckup. A lot of penalties, as we said. This is McCluster taking it out of the end zone for the Chiefs. Slashing his way up to the 23-yard line. Brought down by Brandon Myers and Mitchell right there with that stop. 56-yard return. Blackstock had a hand on him. Out comes Kyle Orton. Some of the numbers with these quarterbacks today.
Both quarterbacks fairly new with their football teams, but you can see the interceptions are costly and not real productive in terms of passing yards, but they're still getting to know their guys. And probably not going to happen until this offseason for Carson Palmer and Kyle Orton. But they have to make good on what they have right now, working with this group of wide receivers.
Jones in the backfield, first down and 10. Low on a bounce. Incomplete to Preston. Coverage by Shepard.
You know, both teams have squandered so many potential scoring opportunities on the fake field goal. The pitch over to Brandon Myers. He's going to run for a touchdown, but the delay of game calls it back. And then Sebastian Janikowski just falls short on a 60-yard field goal attempt. We already showed you the red zone possession by the Kansas City Chiefs. Interception, Kyle Orton, Matt Giordano, and then the blocked field goal just before halftime on the Ryan Suckup field goal attempt.
Second down, 10, Thomas Jones. And brought down on the play by Tyvon Branch, who is the leading tackler for the Raider defense. No gain on the play. Richard Seymour, as we showed you with that blocked field goal attempt, he has not only been one of the best players on this team, but his career has been distinguished by Pro Bowl appearances, first with New England, now with the Raiders.
Rich Seymour at times can be just a dominant player. And I think he's got to play in a more dominant fashion here today in the later part of the season.
Third down and 10. Orton, he's got Ball, who's brought down by Van Dyke. The catch and run to the 45. Flag is down. 21-yard pickup. Looks like it might be against Kansas City. Holding.
Holding. Offense number 67. 10-yard penalty. Still third down.
That wipes out a 21-yard first down throw.
Going to be called on Barry Richardson. 18 first half penalties, the most in the first half in any game so far this season. That's combined 18 penalties on both teams, and Kansas City is adding to it.
7 penalties on the Kansas City offense alone today. Now 3rd and 20.
That's another huge play coming off the board. So you talk about missed scoring opportunities. What about other plays that have come off the board as a result of so many penalties?
Good news for the Raiders, by the way. Matt Giordano is in on this defensive series. He was hurt at the end of the first half. There's a block for Preston coming from Baldwin. The catch and run to the 26, brought down by McLean. 14-yard catch and run. Well shy of the first down. Kansas City will have to punt.
Preston's not a real big guy, but I tell you, he lowers his shoulder. Watch him attack the first down marker, looking to run over defenders. And McLean and Curry and so many guys teeing off on him. He was close to that first down marker.
Colquitt will punt to Denarius Moore. Wind is negligible inside Arrowhead Stadium this afternoon. This is his third punt today. Little hang time, very returnable. Flag is down from the 27-yard line. Here goes Moore. Missing Gafford, and then finally brought down on the far side by, after a 3-yard return by Corey Greenwood on the Chiefs special teams. Busy day for Mike Carey and his crew here in Kansas City.
It's a lot to sort out with so many mistakes and so many penalties and miscues by both teams. I think every official threw his penalty flag on that play.
that is
They're everywhere.
That is not a good sign.
There are 2 fouls, both of them by the receiving team. 12 men on the field is declined. Illegal block on the back, number 23 on the return is accepted. 10-yard penalty, first down, timeout.
Well, 23 is DeMarcus Van Dyke, the rookie from Miami. We've got a timeout, 12:47 in the third. Raiders will have it. We've had a lot of penalties in this game. Mike Carey, as all referees have to do, will have to fill out a report after the game. It may take him until New Year's Eve from this Christmas Eve to get that completed.
May take till next year, huh?
Here's a 1st and 10 after the Kansas City punt. Palmer has thrown 2 interceptions today and gives it off to Bush, who ramrods his way right into Belcher on a gain of 3 to the 23.
No, Bush hadn't really been able to get it going in the running game today. Neither is Marcel Reese. Kansas City Chiefs defense is doing an excellent job of stripping Carson Palmer of that dominant run game. You have to imagine what would this offense be like if they had a healthy Darren McFadden. You can see the rush yards way down from their season average.
Chiefs have come out in 5 in the secondary formation, 2nd and 7. Upended right there was Bush, and again Belcher, who was undrafted out of Maine 3 years ago, with a stop after a gain of 3 out to the 26.
And I'm sure at halftime, the one thing that Hugh Jackson had to tell his offense, hey, we've got to be able to run the football. I think he wants to, keep the pressure off of Carson Palmer. This defense is swarming so rapidly, and they're 3rd and medium. Whenever you get in 3rd and 5, that's much more manageable, and you don't have to push the ball down the field as far in the passing game.
It's 3rd and 5. Marcel Reese first down. Derek Johnson bumps him out of bounds near the 36. Catch and run at 10. And a first down catch and run by Marcel Reese.
And you only can run this play if you have a 3rd and 5. This is a good throw from Palmer. See, he throws it where he allows Reese to continue to run away from Derek Johnson, who's in pursuit. If you lob that ball out there, he's got to wait for it. Now Johnson can recover and make the tackle before Reese can hit the first down mark.
We told you he was a wide receiver in college at the University of Washington. Spread out wide right now. Bush back in, 1st and 10. Bush. Belcher makes the stop near the 42. That's a catch of 7. A little rhythm now for this Oakland offense.
Exactly. I was just getting ready to mention the fact that they're getting some nice throws, and while they're not able to create huge chunks in the running game, if Hugh Jackson can get a 3, maybe 4-yard game, the offense now is in sync and on schedule. 2nd and 3, we used to call those waste downs. That's where you look to take a shot down the field in the passing game.
On 2nd down and 3. That is a catch made by Hayward Bay. Good for 4 to New York and James Brown.
This is a vicious game, Shannon.
This is why running backs, JB, are not overpaid. Adrian Peterson takes a hit low from Dijon Gomes, number 24 of the Redskins. That does not look good. He was helped to his feet, carted to the locker room, being examined in the locker room. We do not expect his return. Christian Ponder sustained a concussion. He will not return.
Kevin and Solomon.
Hard to watch, guys. Thank you. Sad to see. First down and 10. Bush. Jackson gets him up high and a gain of 2 up to the 48.
And Michael Bush knows that running backs aren't underpaid, as Shannon stated. Certainly you have to be able to get the running game going. It is the lifeblood of every offense and the best friend of every quarterback. And there you see the numbers on the 2 leading rushers today. Not a whole lot to show early in the game, but you've got to keep hammering away and see what defense is going to wear thin as the game goes on.
Second down and 8. Bush, big hole and a block by Wisniewski. Tackled by Langford. Flag is down at the 48-yard line. 19-yard gain as it stands against the Raiders.
Holding. Offense number 68. 10-yard penalty is still second down.
That's a second on Valdir, the left tackle.
The second-year left tackle, 6'8", 315, Jared Valdir. They're getting close to becoming the most penalized team in a single season. Here you see the block right there and the hold by 68 Valdir. Well, this has got to be real tough on the play caller for Hugh Jackson. You had your offense on schedule. You're moving into Kansas City Chiefs territory. Now you're looking at a 2nd 18. He's going to call timeout. Try to get his offense into the right place.
We've got a timeout, 9 to play in the 3rd in Kansas City.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. AT&T. Get it faster with 4G. Rethink possible. And by Jaguar. See the new model year lineup at jaguarusa.com.
Well, if you're keeping track of Santa, there he is, one of the famous landmarks of Kansas City. Scout, second down and 18 after the timeout. Good time here, going deep, and he's got more! Langford was beaten for the touchdown! A 61-yard strike, and the Raiders on top, and no penalty flags on the field.
Hugh Jackson calls the timeout. He uses the timeout to dial up this play. Denarius Moore, look at this, against Langford. Langford just got caught flat-footed. And Moore has the speed to make you pay. Look at this. So Flower turns him over to the safety at the second level of the defense, and Langford just doesn't stay with him. You've got to know Demarius Moore is going to sooner or later, he's going to dial up one deep, try to get by you. You've got to stay deeper than he is.
Extra point by Janikowski puts the Oakland Raiders on top by 7. Denarius Moore, his 5th touchdown reception of the season. A 61-yard strike from Palmer. Denarius Moore was an afterthought by a lot of teams. He's a rookie out of Tennessee, a 5th-round pick, and there were various reasons why he was taken late, but the Raiders had him circled, and they drafted him, and are they happy they did? Janikowski kicks it over the head of McCluster.
2 things to look at on this play. 1, the amount of time Carson Palmer has on the play, 3.5 seconds. Look at the safeties. Look, one safety is deep. The one at the bottom of the screen, Rashard Langford, not deep enough. And that's why Denarius Moore runs right by him. It was a simple cover 2 zone designed to take away the deep throw. And because Langford, the safety, is not deep enough, Kendrick Lewis to his side of the field, very deep. And you can see Carson Palmer 4 for 4 on that drive.
First battle in the backfield, 1st and 10 for Orton. He wants his receiver to go deep here. There's a flag, and it's going to be on Lito Shepard, who is defending the receiver, Steve Preston, on the run.
Illegal contact. Defense number 21. 5-yard penalty automatic. First down.
Well, last week, 17 of the top 20 shows on television had something in common. Think of it. but 17 of the top 20. They were all on one network, only on CBS. Congratulations to our terrific programming department out in Los Angeles, headed by Les Moonves. And you can see the penalty record here, which is in peril. First down and 10, Battle. With a block on the play by Lilja, and a 5-yard run and a tackle made by Aaron Curry.
Holding offense number 45, 5-yard penalty is still first.
Think of all the penalties that have not been accepted.
Wow.
And we've had a total of 23 penalties between these two teams in this game, and we're not even halfway through the third quarter.
And Kyle Orton was just screaming at his offensive line because someone's got to really take control of it and really get the players' attention. You've got to dial in and focus. So late in the year, everyone's tired and banged up, less than 100%, a little bit injured, but you've got to be able to focus, and the team that can focus the longest is the team that could win.
Raiders will be in the nickel, 1st and 20 for Kyle Orton. Underneath, McCluster in space. Branch tails him and takes him down at the 35. It is a catch and run of 19 to 20 yards.
Well, we talked about Dexter McCluster just being that matchup advantage. The one guy, you could see him locked up against Tyvon Branch, a bigger safety. Can't stay with Dexter McCluster as he just hits the middle of the defense, and he's close to a first down. I think he's going to be just a little bit shy of the 35-yard line.
We will call it a catch run of 19 yards. That brings up 2nd down and 1. Jackie Battle. He's got the first down. Look at him pile drive his way up to the 38. That's a gain of 4. Tackle was made by McClain.
So many penalties, that means you're taking away some real key plays and opportunities to make plays. Javier Arenas gets the interception, but he's called for holding. It comes back. Denarius Moore on a long run. It's called back. And look, delay of game with what would have been a touchdown on the fake to Brandon Myers. And then stamp the route. Good coverage? No. They call him for holding on Dwayne Bowe. They give the reception to Bowe. Look at the penalty yards for both teams. 205 yards total in penalties.
Take to Thomas Jones on 1st and 10. Look at the time for Orton. Winding. Oh, and he's got Copper. Brought down by Giordano. All the way to the Oakland Raider 19. 42-yard catch. The Chiefs in the red zone.
You tell me that the Chiefs don't have something working with Kyle Orton? Watch how poised he is. He's looking back. He's holding the defense with his eyes. He knew that Copper was coming open, but he held the backside defense by looking. See, he's looking back, trying to hold the safety off, and now he's going to let it. See, that's why Giordano started to drift away from Copper. It was Orton's ability to draw coverage away just simply with his vision. Phenomenal play.
Washington handoff to Thomas Jones, and LaRon McClain was leading the way, and the tackle was made by Desmond Bryant on a gain of 3 down to the 16-yard line.
One of the things they really liked about Kyle Orton, one, he has some familiarity with this offense, having played for Josh McDaniels. So he knew the system. He knew the language in the offense. And I guess that Purdue education doesn't hurt either, right,
Yeah,
Kevin?
absolutely.
I mean, he is a sharp kid, and I think he's come in and fit into this offense very quickly for not having gone through training camp for the first half of the season. He's adapted very quickly.
90!
2nd down, short 7, Battle. Nice cut inside, and dragged down by McClain. Hit by Branch, 10-yard run, swerving for a 1st and goal.
He was a breath away from breaking one more tackle, and McClain hauls him in, but watch him. He's able to weave through guys. There's a couple of missed tackles, and only McClain grabbing just what little he can get of Battle right there. Gets him to the ground, or he's going to pop one loose for a touchdown.
1st and goal at the 6. Thomas Jones. And on the play, Tommy Kelly brings him down. It's a gain of a yard down to about the 5. Boy, they sang the praises of Tommy Kelly. Did his teammates, and Kelly is shaken up, it appears. He signed that gigantic contract a couple years ago, and when Al Davis signed it to him, people thought that the Raiders were crazy to do it, but in retrospect, it was a great hire, a great signing, and Kelly has, for the most part, lived up to that big contract. We've seen a lot of players go down. Matt Giordano was down at the end of the half, but he starts the second half on defense at the safety for the Raiders. So big Tommy Kelly, 6'8". Injury timeout and 4:29 in the third.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by T-Mobile. Give the gift of our fastest smartphones on America's largest 4G network. And by National Car Rental. Go National. Go like a pro.
Second down and goal from the open 5-yard line.
Just had a player taken off. That's Tommy Kelly. He's a tough guy, and he'll be back in momentarily. In the middle, they bring Bryant to take his place. 7th play of the drive. Second and goal at the 5. Thomas Jones blocked by Brandon Albert. Good tackle right there by Aaron Curry. It's a gain of 3, and they're down this far. Solomon with the 19-yard catch and run by McCluster. A 42-yard pass to rotation receiver Copper and a 10-yard run by Battle.
But this is a real key possession for this Kansas City Chiefs offense. Remember, touchdowns have been very hard to come by. This offense has only scored 1 touchdown or less in 10 of their 14 games so far this year. So take a look at Jim Zorn, the quarterback coach, and Romeo Crennel. They know this is a vital, important possession.
3rd and goal. Orton blocked. Nice defense right there by Rolando McClain. Got right in the pathway of the throw. The Chiefs have had red zone struggles today. They've been intercepted in the end zone. They had to settle for a field goal. They're going to have to settle for a try right here.
Hard to tell who is intended. Oh, there it was. Jackie Battle was open. He had beaten Aaron Curry on the play, but McClain saves a touchdown by batting this ball up. Falls and hit the ground. Remember, they were 1 of 5 in red zone possessions last week against Green Bay. They were able to score 19 points in that game, and so far today they continue to struggle inside the red zone.
Here is a 20-yard chippy. Last one was blocked by Seymour. This brings the Chiefs closer, but the Raiders defense does their job keeping them out of the end zone. So 10-6, 3:30 in the third. Suckup got the 20-yard field goal. But the red zone opportunities for the Chiefs knocked astray because of good defensive plays like that by Rolando McClain moments ago when he knocked down a Kyle Orton pass. In the subsequent kickoff, and McClain was a 91-yard kickoff. The opening kickoff for the game, he raced 91 yards. And the Raiders had to get a field goal out of that from 28. But McClain had that big-time return. And Tuesday, the Stars turn out to honor Meryl Streep, Neil Diamond, and more. It's a legendary evening at the Kennedy Center Honors, Tuesday only on CBS. Hope this Christmas Eve finds all of you someplace you want to be. We're where we want to be in the NFL.
We are definitely where we want to be.
A lot of fun to watch this. The stakes are high. There's no doubt about that. A handoff on 1st and 10 to Bush. Takes it up, and Derek Johnson makes the stop. It's a gain of 7. He's up to the 27-yard line.
Well, Carson Palmer got off to a rough start in this game. Had a couple of early interceptions, just bad decisions, and just lacked the accuracy and didn't read the defense properly. But in his last possession, he throws up a 61-yard rainbow to the speedy Denarius Moore. Could have saved the season on that play. If they can hang on here, they need to play well down the stretch. They've blown leads, but right now they're getting it going.
It's 2nd down and 3. Tamba Hali got around Myers, the blocking tight end, or the lack of blocking. It's a loss of 4, and he's back to the 24.
Now this Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to continue to fight on defense, and I think it really does start with Michael Bush getting it going in the run game. He did so on that previous possession, and that's why Palmer was able to hit one deep. But you've got to make them respect your ability to run the football just to be able to buy some space to throw the ball on the back end of the defense.
Chiefs will have 6 in the secondary. This will be a 3rd and 6 for the Oakland Raiders. No sacks today by either team as Gilberry digs in. Timeout. Okay, now that is the second timeout for the Raiders. Their first one came at 9 to play in the third. This comes with 2:11, meaning they've got one timeout remaining.
And we're not even in the fourth quarter.
And we're not in the fourth quarter. Well, we're going to take a look at the AFC playoff picture. But let's go even inside this. The AFC West's defending champion, the Chiefs, in last place. The one-time first-place Raiders have lost 3 in a row. The hottest team of late, Denver, they lost last week to Brady and New England in Denver. They're losing today to 7 consecutive loss Buffalo. And the team to watch, San Diego, will play later today in Detroit. They started 4-1. Then they lost 6 straight.
Yep.
Now they're making their usual late season run. They've won 3 in a row. So what we've got here are 2 games separating all the teams in the West.
And if you're Kansas City, you better root for Buffalo, because if the Broncos were to win in Buffalo, Kansas City would be eliminated from the playoffs.
After the timeout, 3rd and 6. Good time. Deflected. That looked like Kendrick Lewis may have intercepted the pass. Yes, it was. Lewis, who had a return against Oakland for a touchdown earlier in the season. 3 and out, they got a punt.
Well, Lewis is one heck of a football player. Kendrick Lewis continues to make plays, nearly intercepted this one. If you're Carson Palmer, whenever you have more defenders in the area than you have offensive weapons, well, you got to be very careful, because the defense normally comes down with those balls.
Here's the number 1 punter in Leckler, punting to the number 2 AFC return man that lands at the 7. The hang time is well over 5 seconds. A 76-yard punt by the perennial Pro Bowler Shane Leckler. Number 1, he averages 50 yards per punt. That baby sailed all that way. Only One Network brings you America's top comedies like How I Met Your Mother, 2.5 Men, The Big Bang Theory, 2 Broke Girls, and Mike and Molly. Only CBS. As you can tell, we're proud of the network that they bring you back in the NFL business beyond 2020.
I'm proud of that punt by Shane Leckler.
That was a beauty. 1st and 10 for Kyle Orton. Right on the money. Preston working on Shepard. Preston has been such a nice position for this team.
Look at him. He's a competitor. He's not a real big guy, but boy, he's big in heart. The way that he was competing against Lito Shepard to be able to catch that ball. See how the jerseys all held up? That's because they're tussling. These defensive backs play very physical for the Oakland Raiders. They're going to beat you up. They're going to pull the jersey. Need to fix that jersey with the shoulder pads sticking out.
Preston came here because he was interested in playing for Todd Haley again, who he was playing under at Arizona when Haley was the offensive coordinator. Here's the handoff to Battle. On 1st and 10, you can see him dragging Cam Wembley for a couple yards. He picks up 3, and he's up to the 37 of the Chiefs.
And now if you're Kansas City, you've got to continue to try to put more points on the board. And obviously, they want to take some shots too, because we talked to Kyle Orton. He says, we're going to throw some screens. We're going to run the ball. But if we get to the man-to-man matchups, individual matchups on the outside, we're going to take some shots down the field. And that's the way Romeo Crennel wants to play. If they're not going to score inside the red zone, you might want to take some shots before you get there.
Hold on.
On 2nd down and 7. That's a false start, I believe, for the Chiefs. Well, let's see. Hold on.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 94 jumped in, caused an immediate reaction. 5-yard penalty to 2nd down.
14 penalties on the Raiders.
Yeah, unforced penalties. Some of the kinds we talked about with lack of discipline. Those are the ones we talked about earlier. It wasn't an effort penalty. It was just not being smart.
Shepard is being taken out. In his place, they bring in Mike Mitchell. 2nd down and 2. Maneri, 68 eligible. Hand off to Battle. Nice defensive plug right there. Making the stop, Aaron Curry. And no gain on the play.
Oh, the Chiefs certainly has struggled today. And they've had some opportunities and certainly have not been able to capitalize. It's Kyle Orton. You get the sense they're getting a little bit frustrated. So take a look at the 10 penalties they've had. They've gone 1 for 8 on 3rd down. They've turned the ball over, had field goals blocked, and in the red zone possession, 3 opportunities and nothing to show for.
The big play, a 61-yard touchdown pass by Palmer. We start the 4th quarter. Raiders on top. Kansas City 3rd and 2. Blocked by Albert. Preston, he's got the first down. Shepard going up high, bringing him down. He sneaks into Oakland territory at the 48. A catch and run of 9. Preston had an earlier catch of 14 in this drive.
Yeah, this play is just designed for a quick little pass over to Preston so he can get some catch and run. See if he can hit the sticks. And this is where I think if you're the Raiders, you've got to turn it up. Because this Kansas City Chiefs team, they're used to grinding games out, but the Raiders have blown 4th quarter leads in 2 games against the Bills and then last week against Detroit.
White 90!
Battle is in 1st and 10. And tripped up nicely on the play. These linebackers of the Raiders are terrific. Rolando McClain making the stop. No gain on the play. In fact, they'll give him about a yard on the play. 2nd down and 9.
Chuck Bresnahan's trying to get a defense together. Remember, they were outscored 80-32 in their last 2 road games. And a trip to Miami, a trip to Green Bay, and then went home last week and had that loss to Detroit. They've lost 3 straight games, and they were once in control of the division.
Jones in, 2nd and long 9. Incomplete flags. Ball for Preston. Route was covering. 2 flags thrown in the area.
Yeah, they're going to say Stanford route. Now, this is a hand battle. And I'm not so sure that these penalties on Stanford route, he's in real tight coverage. And the receiver is trying to get an advantage by pushing off on him. So he's got to fight back with his hands.
There are 2 fouls on the play, both of them against the defense, both of them holding. 96 and 26. 5-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
That is the 15th penalty against the Oakland Raiders. That ties the most against any team this season.
26 to Stanford route. See the hands? Now, you're telling me that you saw the hands of Steve Preston. He had a little push off, and I just believe that Stanford route used his hands only to brace himself. He clearly was not holding Steve Preston or preventing him from making the catch because it looked like Preston made the catch anyway.
Route was penalized 4 times last week against the Lions' Calvin Johnson. 1st and 10 from the Raider 42. Out, first one by Kansas City in this 2nd half. They're on the move. 13:48 to play in the 4th. Kyle Orton, the Kansas City quarterback, just took a timeout. We mentioned before that Route was called 4 times in penalties last week against Calvin Johnson. He's picked up 3 penalties today. He is their top cornerback, but he is being targeted too. It's down and 10 from the 42-yard line. Jackie Battle with McClain leading the block on Wembley with a hit right there, and the backpedaling Battle is down to about the 34-yard line. That's a pickup of 7 for Battle.
Well, Battle is always going to be running hard behind McClain. Look at 44. Look at the block right there. That's what clears it as he cuts the legs out from up under Cameron Wembley. We talk about the defense setting the edge. That time it was a soft edge because they were able to get Cameron Wembley off his feet.
I told you earlier, Denver is losing in Buffalo. The winner of this game is alive and well in the playoff picture. 2nd down and 3. Here comes Houston. There goes Horton, throwing it away. On the numbers, he had McClain. That ball sailed out of bounds, but he was outside that pocket area, so now it is 3rd and 3.
He was trying to get Anthony Beck out, but Beck was slow in getting out. He was held up at the line of scrimmage. There was no one to throw the ball to, and Horton smartly threw the ball away. 3rd and 3 now. This is one of those plays where you have the option to run it, or you can get some kind of rollout play, or do you go quick slant to Dwayne Bowe, matched up against one of the corners for the Oakland Raiders.
Well, you mentioned Bowe. He hasn't had a reception here in the 2nd half. 3rd and 3. Custer's in. Intercepted, picked off by Route. That's right, he's one of the best right there. Baldwin will bring him down. There's a flag on Baldwin. That's the second interception thrown by Kansas City quarterback Kyle Orton today.
Wow, you talk about these quarterbacks being on the same page with receivers they barely know. Orton takes a chance and route makes him pay for it.
Yeah, both these quarterbacks, the third quarterback used by each team this year.
After the interception, personal foul on the passing team number 89, a horse collar, 15 yards from the dead ball spot, automatic first down.
So route picks off the Kansas City quarterback Orton, and it couldn't come at a better time. The Chiefs were moving downfield, and route stops that drive in its tracks.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Droid Razor by Motorola. Droid strong, razor sharp. New York Life Insurance Company. And by the Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event, where you can drive away in any new 2012 VW for practically just your signature.
Chiefs with 2 turnovers in Oakland territory today. Route just picked off Orton from the 38, 1st and 10. And that's Bush submarining for 5. He's up to the 43. Hit on the play by Javon Belcher. Coming up the Subway postgame show from New York. James Brown, Dan Marino, Shannon Sharp, Boomer Esiason, Coach Bill Cowher. Scores, news, and highlights. That's all coming up in the Subway postgame show from our CBS studios. 2nd down and 5. Michael Bush again. Stopped pretty cleanly. Nice stop there by rookie out of Georgia, Justin Houston. It's a gain of 2. He's up to near the 45.
Now let's see if the Oakland Raiders, we talk about their performance in the 4th quarter 1 week ago. Can they improve upon it? I think they have to understand that you got to get as much as you can offensively. With anemic rushing yards, the numbers today haven't been great. They've got to be able to be more productive offensively after the performance they got from their defense 1 week ago.
It's 3rd and 3. The Chiefs with 6 in the secondary. Right through the hands of Denarius Moore. Coverage on the play by Brandon Flowers. 3 and out. Oakland can do nothing with the route interception.
Just real good pressure. Palmer has to get rid of it because Houston, you can see the holding right there by Brandon Flowers. That was the distraction that caused Denarius Moore to drop the ball. Flowers got away with one.
Last punt by Shane Leckler sailed 76 yards. Back at the 10-yard line is Javier Arenas out of Alabama. Fair caught 9-yard line by Arenas. 45-yard well-placed punt. Here comes Orton. Here come the Chiefs down by 4.
1st and 10 Chiefs from the Kansas City 10-yard line.
Leckler's punt puts Kansas City at their 10 with a 1st and 10. Chiefs have 2 timeouts. Raiders have 1. LeRon McClain for the secondary. He's met there by Matt Giordano, has an interception in the end zone. It's a gain of 11 and a 1st down by McClain.
You know, Kyle Orton, he was able to shred apart that Green Bay Packers defense 1 week ago, but down inside the red zone, making mistakes, costly errors, interception to Matt Giordano, and then as they were knocking on the end zone there, then that ball batted down, then another interception by Stanford Route. So once he crosses the 50-yard line, the ball seems to be in jeopardy for Kyle Orton. 2 interceptions so far today.
1st down and 10. Albert with the block and incomplete with Shepard covering Preston. Longtime Eagle, multiple Pro Bowler, Lito Shepard.
Now, I can't tell you how many times both quarterbacks, Carson Palmer, Kyle Orton, where they expect the receiver to do one thing, but then something else happens, or the receiver expects one thing from the quarterback and they get another. And this is just sort of a work in progress for both quarterbacks, neither of which who were with their teams through training camp, joined well after the first portion of the season had begun, and so they're just trying to make do as they go.
Thomas Jones on 2nd down and 10. He'll slither free for a gain to the 30. A pickup of 9 by Thomas Jones. He has played in 101 consecutive games. Giordano hobbling.
Now look at the cuts made by Thomas Jones. There's one, and then there's two. He's picking his way, trying to get by Matt Giordano, but that's just excellent running. Didn't appear to be much there, but Thomas Jones finding a way to make things happen.
What a pro.
It's phenomenal.
There's Giordano, had that interception. We just showed you that highlight. He is trying to gain some regularity to his walk. 3rd down and 1. Battle is in. Jackie Battle pulling is Lilja. Tackle was made by McLean as Battle carves 4. And the Chiefs will move the chains and get the first down.
I'll tell you what, if McLean doesn't make that tackle, he's popping it big. Now watch McLean, watch 55. Block down. Now you got to get down there if you're Mitchell, but see, McLean was able to knife through and get that tackle. I thought Cameron Wembley was blocked. Had he been able to get outside, boy, he's going to pop one for a big run. McLean's playing much better today than he has in recent weeks.
Play 90!
2 tight ends in on 1st and 10. Jones, nothing there. He was hit by Kelly and by Desmond Bryant and by Branch. There's no gain on the play, and it's 2nd down and 10. So Branch is a good one, huh?
Yeah, he is a good one. That's what I said. They have so many good players on their defense. You take a look at the fantasy stats. There are so many good players that you get the sense that if they can play better as a team, more cohesive group, and really stick together and fight for one another, they can accomplish some great things. Very talented roster.
On 2nd down and 10, McCluster just checks in. Out of bounds by Aaron Curry. Out of bounds about the 41-yard line. That's a catch and run of 7 yards for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I think we were talking about the talent on this roster for the Raiders as we were talking to Kansas City Chiefs general manager Scott Pioli. As we take a look at the tackle, Aaron Curry on Dexter McCluster. You're going to hear it. But he talked about the talent on both the Raiders and the Chargers rosters and where their teams are. But you can see all of them so closely linked together. It takes more than talent to become a winner of the National Football League.
Battle in 3rd and 3. He's got Battle right here, bottom of your screen. Orton running, has to get to the 44, and he's short because of an alert defensive play by Mike Mitchell. Coming up and stopping the Kansas City quarterback, and now it becomes 4th down, and perhaps the length of the football. And a very important decision to be made by Romeo Crennel.
I'm going to share something with you. And Matt Castle takes a lot of flack, but I've seen Matt Castle win right here, point of contact. He doesn't go down. He buries his shoulder, and you know that Matt Castle is much more athletic. And just comparing the two, we've seen him win in those situations to move the chains and pick up a first down. I think sometimes quarterbacks have to understand the situation and be willing to risk a little bit to gain a whole lot more. I thought Kyle Orton didn't necessarily have to concede and go down to the ground on that play. So you take a look at Castle there, who's out for the year. Sometimes you got to fight for a little bit to keep your offense on the field and create a new set of downs. But here we go on a 4th and inches. You think you get the quarterback keeper, so Orton may get a second chance to get that first down.
In fact, you can take away the S. 4th and a link. Huge play. Jackie Battle. Stop. Oh, what a big-time hit made and flying through Lamar Houston. A 2nd-round pick out of Texas a year ago. The Raiders think they have held. At the bottom of the pile is Seymour. And let's see. Yep, they're going to give it to Oakland. They hold on 4th and a link.
Wow, and you can see Kelly getting penetration. Seymour, McLean. Houston comes in on the cleanup and get the huge stop. Jackie Battle's been so good in short yardage situations. But we talk about that massive defensive line for the Oakland Raiders. The talent and size between Bryant, Seymour, and so many guys on that defensive line able to turn back the Kansas City Chiefs. And you talked about not inches, but 1 inch, a link of the chain, and they don't even get that.
Seymour was at the bottom of the pile. Houston was flying over the top. They stopped Battle. And now the Raiders will take over. They've had 2 consecutive 3-and-outs. They've got it. 43 of Kansas City, 1st and 10. This is Michael Bush. Oh, swerves inside. Brought down by Lewis. 11-yard rumble down to the 32. We take you to New York and James Brown.
Kevin, not a good afternoon for Tebow.
No, JB. It's going to come down to next week against Kansas City at home. Picked off. Jarius Byrd returns it 31 yards. Guess what, JB? And he turns it over again, and they runs it back for a touchdown again. So now it's about to be 40-14 Buffalo.
Back to Kevin and solid.
That's the 5th defensive touchdown by the Buffalo Bills this year. Here is a 1st and 10 run. Again, it's Bush taking the place of the injured McFadden, who's missing his 8th consecutive game today. It's a gain of 4. Bush has carried it 17 times for 55 yards.
Yeah, and he's starting to get it going. We talk about keep cranking it, keep it going. Kyle Lorton just wants one more shot with the score in range to get his team into the end zone. They're running out of precious seconds on their playoff hopes. And, of course, they are the defending AFC West Division champion.
And remember, if the Raiders win, they will stay alive. 2nd down and 6, and Bush corkscrewing his way into the grasp of Tyson Jackson. A gain of 2 to New York and James Brown.
Shades of Jim Brown.
Yes, on my Bradshaw. And you tell your running back, son, finish the play. Rodney Poole, whoo, you've been served. 27 G-men over the Jets.
Kevin and solid.
Boy, getting Bradshaw back and healthy. Huge for the Giants. Huge.
Rodney Poole, wow. Buckle up, wear a seatbelt.
Look at that, 20-7, the New York Giants. 3rd and 4. Pretty big play right here. Palmer, Bushman's out of 1st down. Working on Javier Arenas. Spot him at the 18-yard line. A pinpoint throw by Palmer, a pickup of 8, and a 1st down for the Raiders.
Yeah, we said that Javier Arenas, the slot corner, that's where they would want to go when they want to make a play. The veteran T.J. Houshmandzadeh, a longtime friend and teammate of Carson Palmer, Mr. Reliable in the slot, making a play for his head coach.
Houshmandzadeh, who came in with 9 receptions, has had 2 pretty important catches today.
Now, something tells me he's capable of doing more.
Like you said earlier, they got a relationship going back to Cincinnati. 1st and 10. Bush. Not a whole lot there. It's a gain of 3 on the play. Kelly Craig getting off the pile. And they'll spot him at the 16-yard line.
They now have Tonga in the backfield. He's the first-year player from BYU, 5'11", 245 pounds. Marcel Reese is 240, and Bush, he's 245. You've got tons back there in that backfield with these Oakland Raiders, and you've got to continue to block them and tackle them.
Extra offensive lineman is in. They got 6 linemen in 2nd down, and a long 7. Bush again. That's a gain of 2, working into the grasp of Glenn Dorsett and Ali.
Now this Kansas City Chiefs defense, they've got to figure out a way to come up with a takeaway themselves inside of the red zone.
And again, Hugh Jackson using 6 offensive linemen. Stephon Hoyer has come in.
That tells you what they want to do. I mean, they want to run the ball. And that's why they're loading up with all that girth in the backfield and at the line of scrimmage.
So Hoyer is on one side, Leif Barnes on the other, 3rd and 6. Blocked by Bush. Honda. Blocked down by Derek Johnson. It is a gain of 1 yard. So it'll be 4th down. They'll bring on Janikowski. Ball goes down to the 14-yard line.
They motion down and try to sneak the fullback Tonga out in the flat. No way he's going to run away from the athletic and speedy Derek Johnson. And Johnson's a student of the game. He stayed on his coverage even though he was checking for everything else, but he didn't fall asleep in his coverage on the fullback.
So here comes Janikowski. He's had a couple blocked this season. He's missed from 58. This will be a 32-yard try. Make it 31. As they move up a half yard. And 31, right down the middle of Main Street. So the lead of the Raiders is extended to 7. The clock is down to 2:57.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Here we go. And by Subway Restaurants. Get your own Subway steak melt today.
The West Division champion Kansas City Chiefs. The defending champs are on the ropes. They lose, they're finished. This is going to go out of the end zone over the head of McCluster. If the Raiders lose and Denver loses, Oakland is still alive.
But Kansas City simply has to win. All they need is Kyle Lorton to make a play, drive him the length of the field. Raiders were in this position last week against Detroit and gave up a 91-yard touchdown drive to the Detroit Lions. Chuck Bresnan, defense coordinator, knows they've been in this situation before and have failed. And if you're Romeo Crennel, you know that you can get some points on the board here because the Raiders will make mistakes defensively.
That's a great point. They've had trouble closing teams out. 1st and 10 for Oregon. On the money, caught by Bo. Markham at the 35, 15-yard pickup. Working on Giordano, 1st and 10.
This ball looked like Giordano had it, but it was Bo who knifed in. Look at this. We're talking about every ball being contested by the defense in this game. They're keen to get to it. And remember, if you're Kansas City, touchdown PAT will tie it. 2-point conversion will win it.
6 defensive backs on 1st and 10. Bo again. Slashing in. Hit by Shepard. Mitchell comes in there to finish off the job. That's a pickup of 12 after the 15-yard pickup by Bo. And coming up is the 2-minute warning. The Chiefs in the timeout category right now have 2. Oakland with 1. And this will be a stoppage of play. So Bo with catches of 15 and 12. They're on the move and down by 7. We're at the 2-minute warning and coming up on the Subway postgame show. JB, Dan, Shannon, Boomer, and Coach Bill Cowher for the latest NFL scores and highlights. The Subway postgame show is next from our CBS studios in New York. It is a 1st and 10. Bo has caught 2 passes on this drive, 1 for 12, 1 for 15. For Preston. Working on Branch. Incomplete. 2nd down and 10.
Boy, Preston really extended himself to go up for that ball. Not afraid to put his body in harm's way. He's a little guy, but tremendous in courage. Orton held onto the ball as long as he could. That one thrown just a bit high. Preston wasn't able to hold on to it. You can see he got 1 foot down, an elbow in, but ball comes out once he hits the ground.
2nd down and 10. McCluster. Wiggman with the block. Littleton leading the way. There goes Dexter McCluster. Getting another block from Beck. It's a foot race with Giordano inside the 5.
It's the matchup Kyle Orton has been wanting all day long. Screen play. Getting the ball in space to Dexter McCluster. Ryan Littleton out blocking, Wegman out blocking. You get him to the 3rd level of the defense and it's a jailbreak. And now Matt Giordano is the only thing keeping him from getting to the end zone and scoring a touchdown. Once again, the Raiders in great position to seal the deal, and they let it get away.
It is 1st and goal from the 3. Battle is in. Orton. Touchdown. Dwayne Bowe.
Not much you can do against that one, Stanford route. This is the back shoulder throw. Quarterback and wide receiver being together for no more than 2 or 3 weeks. Executing that kind of play, are you kidding me? Great throw, even better catch. Literally a one-hand grab by Dwayne Bowe.
And his first touchdown reception since October 9th at Indianapolis. What is it about the Raiders being unable to close out games? The all-important extra point by Suckup. Wow, what a series of plays. First of all, Bo caught passes of 15 and 12. Then Dexter McCluster on a screen pass, a catch and run of 49 yards, and then a bullet thrown by Orton to Dwayne Bowe. Succop's extra point ties the game at 13.
An extra point that nearly didn't make it through. This one doesn't hit the upright, Kevin. It skins in off the left upright to tie the game. And how many times have we seen this Kansas City Chiefs offense struggle inside the red zone today? And on the very first play of the red zone possession, we get the touchdown to Dwayne Bowe. They were not kidding. We talked about the matchup advantages, and Kyle Orton said why they should be so good in the red zone. He said the length of the wide receivers, mentioning Dwayne Bowe. First touchdown in his last 53 receptions.
Now as we turn our attention to Carson Palmer, remember they took 2 early second half timeouts, one with 9 minutes to play, one with 2:11 to play, so they've got 1 timeout, 1:02 on the clock. Succop has the ball teed up at the 35-yard line, and deep back is McCann. He had a 91-yard kickoff return, did Brian McCann, to begin the game. The end zone, touchback to the 20-yard line for Palmer, and the Raiders first down and 10. Remember, they got the best big leg in the NFL, and Sebastian Janikowski.
Yeah, the target line is the Kansas City Chiefs' 45-yard line, but first they have to get there. Remember, they had an opportunity last week to get a field goal from Sebastian Janikowski. It was blocked by Ndamukong Suh and sealed the deal for Detroit. Right now, Carson Palmer already 2 interceptions in this game. He threw 3 the last time in Week 7 against Kansas City. He has to avoid throwing a third one here today.
With a single timeout, first and 10. Bush blocked by Wisniewski. Knocked down after a gain of 3 at about the 23-yard line. Alan Bailey makes the stop there along with Lewis. Second down and 6. Was hit. Great penetration coming through Justin Houston. Before the game, we were talking about the emergence of this rookie out of the University of Georgia. How coupled with Ali, it has made Kansas City's defense a lot more potent.
Yeah, he comes in today's game with 4 sacks, and you see Ali pressuring the pocket. Houston comes up the middle, was able to block that ball down. Palmer was looking for Kevin Boss going down the middle of the field, who I thought was very well covered.
Third down and 6. And knocked away. What a play by Kendrick Lewis, intended for Denarius Moore. 3 and out, they got a punt.
You love the play of Kendrick Lewis. He's been a stellar player, even with Eric Berry out. He has been, I think, the catalyst in this secondary. The guy who's the great communicator, keeping everyone on the same page. A very underrated secondary playing here in Kansas City.
We have the number 1 punter, and we've talked about it all afternoon long. Punting to the number 3 punt return man in the NFL, Arenas. Leckler lets it fly. End time of 4-3. Here comes Javier Arenas. Langford with a block. Copper with a block. Down at the 32. He was hit on the play by Richard Gordon. A 19-yard return. Mitchell there. And now we take a look at Ryan Succop.
They need to get just about the 35-yard line of the Oakland Raiders to get within range for Ryan Succop. At first, with 18 seconds left, if you're Kansas City, you feel fortunate. You have 2 timeouts. You can take a shot down the middle of the field, still stop the clock, and maybe have time for at least maybe 2 plays here.
A lot of penalties against the Raiders today. For those of you just joining us, a 61-yard touchdown pass by Palmer. We just had a 3-yard touchdown pass by Kyle Orton to tie the game at 13. 2 timeouts, as Solomon just said, remaining. First and 10. From behind, he hits Bowe. As Cameron Wembley just was that close to knocking the ball away. A 25-yard catch against Bresnahan's Oakland defense. The ball goes down to the 42. Bo has been huge late in the game.
He just takes the ball away from the... Look how he fights and contests for it. Fighting against Stanford Rout, who had picked off that same play earlier against Kyle Orton. And this time, Bo fights for the ball. He comes down with it. And maybe if he goes down sooner, they get a little bit more time, but they're not going to be any closer to a field goal. With 9 seconds left, I think you have time to get a quick throw out to the sideline, maybe jump ball situation. But if you catch it in the middle of the field, get down and call a timeout quickly. You don't want to try to get caught getting yards after the catch here. If you catch it within the 30-yard line, you want to get down, call a timeout quickly, Kevin.
So Bo has caught 4 passes here in the fourth quarter. Went over 1,000 yards receiving earlier in the game. That hit right there for 25 yards off the fingertips of Kyle Orton. 1st and 10 at the Oakland 42. That is caught by Terrence Copper. It's a gain of 10. He's out of bounds at the 32.
He's in the slot. Ball nearly intercepted. Just 1 inch away is Lito Shepherd. But that 1 inch is enough for Copper to catch it and hit the sideline. He stops the clock with 5 seconds to go. Well inside of that target line that we talked about for Ryan Succop.
Oakland has had a couple of blocked field goals this year, including in the game today when Seymour reached up and knocked down a Succop try from 49 yards. 49-yard field goal try. Blocked again! The Raiders have done it again. I think it was Richard Seymour, or was it Groves? They came up the middle.
New life for the Oakland Raiders.
Richard Seymour has blocked his 2nd field goal today. Overtime in Kansas City. Unbelievable.
Seymour, watch him, number 92, getting a hand up. And there, he was the 2nd wave after Kelly had already dove over the top. Wow. If you're Hugh Jackson, your life flashed before your eyes. He knows he has another shot.
So Richard Seymour has blocked 2 field goals today, and Succop had hit 22 consecutive field goals until late in the first half when Seymour got his big paw on the first kick by Succop.
Something about these games on Christmas weekend, they seem to just kind of hit a nerve, and it's going to go down to the very end. Remember, Kansas City was involved in one of the longest games ever on Christmas Day. They find themselves in another thriller.
Our referee Mike Carey has the team captains at midfield.
To break the tie, there will be 1 sudden death overtime period. Each team will have 2 timeouts. Fourth quarter rules will apply, and instant replay will be run by the replay official in the booth. For the toss. Heads, tails, what's your choice? Tails he calls, I'll let it hit the ground.
Who wants the ball?
Tails, you want the ball. Thank you! Good. Oakland is going to top, and they'll receive. Hey! Wait, where do you want to kick? Which way do you want to kick?
So Carson Palmer and the Raiders will get it first in overtime on Christmas Eve on CBS. Carson Palmer has thrown a couple of picks today. He hit more right there, number 17, the rookie from Tennessee, and a 61-yard bomb. Raiders have blocked 2 field goals, both by highly paid Richard Seymour. Succop had hit 22 consecutive field goals until the 2 blocks. Now he'll kick off in overtime with the Chiefs and the Raiders tied at 13. Oakland has won 4 consecutive games here. Deep back is Brian McCann, who began the game for us, Solomon, here with a 60, make it a 91-yard kickoff return.
Look at Romeo rallying the troops, his defense. They pitched a 3 and out the last time the Raiders had the offense. That's why they had such good field position. A couple of plays, and they were in field goal position themselves.
Overtime is underway. This will be returned by McCann, 4 years out of SMU. Studebaker couldn't get him. Brown couldn't get him. And then he was brought down after a 26-yard return on the play by Jackie Battle.
Well, here's Jackie Battle. He's a very good player, and he has always been a good special teams player. Now helping out the offense as the Chiefs' leading rusher. All right, Kevin, it's up to Carson Palmer. You cannot go 3 and out if you are the Oakland Raiders on offense. Shane Leckler is good at changing field positions with one putt, but you need to make plays on offense here in overtime.
First down and 10. Going deep and looking for Hayward Bay. He's got him at the 25. They beat Kendrick Lewis. Another long completion by Carson Palmer, 57 yards.
Great play design by Hugh Jackson. They set it up where he can run past the safety at the back end, and not even Lewis can stay with the speedy Hayward Bay. And what a throw from Carson Palmer. You want to know if that elbow's in good shape? I've already seen 2 good throws today. One to Hayward Bay, another to Denarius Moore. That answers the question for me.
First down and 10 from the Kansas City 23. Bush, Honda with the lead block. That's a gain of 3, and he's down to about the 20-yard line of the Kansas City Chiefs. Denver, the last we saw, was losing in Buffalo. The Chiefs have got to win to stay alive. That Denver game is over. Tebow and the Broncos have lost in Buffalo. Second down and 7. Win or lose, Oakland is still alive. But they needed Denver to lose today, which they've done.
And I'd be surprised if Hugh Jackson lets Carson Palmer throw the ball here. I'd be really surprised.
Second down and 7. Michael Bush again. In the secondary, Lewis brings him down. That's a meager gain of 2, and he's down to about the 18-yard line of the Chiefs.
You cannot be close enough. We know Sebastian Janikowski can kick them from 60 yards out. They're going to bring him on right now to kick the game winner, if possible. As you take a look at the picture in the AFC West standings, with Denver falling to Buffalo and falling to 8 and 7.
Janikowski is in. 36-yard field goal try to get the win. Timeout, Kansas City, with 12:52 to play in overtime. Now down to 12:50.
Boy, this Kansas City Chiefs defense played so well today. They've essentially given up 2 plays. The big pass play to Denarius Moore. Another big pass play to Darius Hayward Bay here in overtime. Romeo Crennel, Hugh Jackson, both coaches doing fine jobs with their football team. This game was very sloppy early, but you know, midway through the third quarter, things tend to settle down, and we've had ourselves a good football game.
Native of Poland, who had high school football experience in Daytona Beach, Florida. He's had 3 field goals to beat the Chiefs over his NFL career. A 36-yard try to win it. And the Raiders have won for a 5th consecutive time in Kansas City. They have held on, and on Christmas Eve, no better present for Hugh Jackson and the Raiders, who beat the Chiefs 16-13.
Sebastian Janikowski nailing it through. But you have to go back to before we went into overtime in regulation. The block by Richard Seymour gave this Raiders football team new life. And then Hugh Jackson dialing up aggressive pass plays as he can't help but say a prayer. Boy, the pressure and stress of it all.
So here we go. Kansas City is out 6-9. The Chiefs will be in Denver next week. Oakland will take on the San Diego Chargers next week. The Chargers, though, play in Detroit in a matter of moments. The 4th time that Janikowski has beaten Kansas City. The big play A catch by Darius Hayward-Bay of 57 yards, setting up the game-winning 36-yard field goal. Merry Christmas from Kansas City, the Raiders with the win.